The semifinal battle just underway. Here are Chris Cuthbert and Dave Archer.
Thank you, Don, and good afternoon, everybody, from McMahon Stadium. Saskatchewan Roughriders with the football. Reggie Slack looking at 1st and 20, his first pass of the game. And it is incomplete, or Curtis Mayfield, they're ruling a catch at the 46-yard line. That's a gain of 12 after the Roughriders' first play was negated by a holding penalty. But Reggie Slack is at the controls for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Dave, he was more effective running the football against Calgary this year than passing it.
And in talking to Cal Murphy right before the game, they would like to feature Reggie Slack running the football a little bit more today.
Slack with a 100-yard rushing game in one of the 3 meetings against the Stampeders. Second down, he looks for Mayfield, and Curtis Mayfield cuts it back, breaks the Alondra Johnson tackle, and crosses midfield for a first down. So Mayfield, who for the most part this season has been a wideout, moves inside at slot because of an injury and has a couple of quick catches.
Only his 3rd start at slot, as Reggie Slack has found him twice in the last 2 throws. Reggie's numbers don't reflect how tough a guy he is, how he comes to play every week, and he'll play hard again today for Saskatchewan.
So a promising start for the Green Riders into Calgary territory. Some early motion along the line, flag down, Saunders can't get outside. Wrapped up by Al Jordan, moving up from the corner to make the tackle, but Calgary may have jumped offside.
And it's offside.
Ken Lazaruk is this afternoon's referee.
Offside, Calgary number 95, first down repeated.
Well, whenever you can steal some yards, a veteran quarterback's going to do it, and he did with a staggered count there.
Got Jermaine Miles. And it'll be 1st and 5. Here's the Saskatchewan offense.
Their offensive line will have to play well. Carl Coulter has Green and Kaminsky on both sides. Both haven't played very much. Curtis Mayfield, as we touched on, is in the slot, replacing Rod Harris.
Already a factor today, and now Saunders. Mike Saunders, submarine by Marvin Coleman. What a brilliant season he's had. The little guy on the corner who plays the run as tough as anybody. Flag is down, however, and it's a holding call against Saskatchewan.
Well, you talked about Marvin Coleman. Marvin Coleman, 3rd in the league in tackles, and he's not big, 5'9", 170, makes the play.
Holding, Saskatchewan number 35, first down repeated.
So Sean Daniels called for the 2nd time in the initial drive of the football game.
Sean Daniels, number 35, the lead back, got hold of the outside defender there and was holding on to the jersey, but Marvin Coleman comes up and makes the play, and Coleman's excited today because he's going to get to play both the wide side and the short side. Just going to stay on one side of the field and going to get both opportunities today.
So 1st and 15, Saskatchewan. Play action, and Slack looking over the middle, and it's incomplete, intended for the newcomer, Titus Winans. And it'll be 2nd and 15 as we set the Calgary defense for you.
Well, this is a defense that's number 2 in yards given up. Steve Anderson steps in to fill the void for Ernie Brown being out, but that's a good solid front. And their linebackers are probably their strength. Daryl Hall has had an all-CFL year this year. Marvin Coleman, I feel, maybe the best corner in the league.
Marvin Coleman, top defensive player with Calgary. Wally Buono said that it just as easily could have been Daryl Hall. 2nd and 15. Here comes the big rush from McClanahan, and the pass over the head of Donald Narcisse, the great veteran. First time Slack's called his number today, and it'll be 3rd down for the Green Riders. Well, Narcisse and Bobby Jurison, the veterans and the leaders of this Saskatchewan team.
Well, they get good pressure on Slack, and the coverage is there, and Reggie does the right thing. He throws the ball over Donald Narcisse's head and out of bounds, minimize any type of mistake here.
Paul McCallum will handle the punting duties for Saskatchewan, and Marvin Coleman is the lone man back. Calgary got to a couple of punts last week in their route to BC. They hurry McCallum, and here's Coleman. A no yards flag goes down, and Marvin Coleman is up to the 35. So Saskatchewan didn't give the 5-yard cushion, and Coleman comes up pushing. We're underway in the Western semifinal.
You're looking at the jubilant aftermath in Montreal, where the
Alouettes have defeated the BC Lions 45-35 in the Eastern semifinal. That means Montreal will advance to the final next Sunday in Toronto to meet the Argonauts, a team they beat just 1 week ago to end the season. Right now, let's go back to the booth. And here's Chris and Dave.
A great scene today at Molson Stadium. Wally Bono used to play there as an Alouette, and he had a touch of nostalgia watching part of that Eastern semi. Here's Jeff Garcia in his first pass of the game, looking for Terry Bond. One of his top receivers throughout the season, incomplete. And Garcia off a great start last week in the game against BC after missing the second to last game with the infected elbow, but he came out pitching red hot last week against the Lions.
Oh, he's an outstanding player, and what Jeff's learned is that he has a lot of weapons on this offense, and he gets them all involved. That's when he's successful.
The Western nominee is the outstanding player in the CFL this year. Up against his old running mate, Doug Flutie, 2nd and 10. And here's Garcia, almost picked off, and then almost caught by Travis Moore. But Ron Getz got his hand on the football first.
Number 47 had a shot at the interception.
Getz slid out to that hole and made the play. Reaches up just a zone coverage, and that's what the linebackers have to do. It's 2nd and 10. They don't feel like that they're going to run the football, so they can get some depth with their linebackers. Turl Homer, the halfback coming, but John Kropke gets the pressure on Jeff Garcia, but he had enough time to get that off. Nice play by Getz.
Tony Martino, 2nd in punting in the CFL, and Shannon Baker is back for the Green Riders. Was on. Martino got it away. Curtis Mayfield on the far side picks the ball up and is down at the 30-yard
line.
You'll never get left out in the cold with MotoMaster, Canada's #1 selling brand of batteries. Available only at Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
Good sure tackle by Jason Clement, one of those grinders we featured at halftime in the Eastern semi, limiting the Saskatchewan return to a yard after the 43-yard punt by Tony Martino. 2nd series for Reggie Slack and the Saskatchewan offense. Did not throw a touchdown pass against Calgary in 3 games this season. Rolls left and looks to Dan Farthing, incomplete. Marvin Coleman right there for the Stampeders.
Again, good tight coverage by Marvin Coleman on Dan Farthing, and Farthing was their nominee for most outstanding Canadian, and that guy right there, in my mind, is one of the 2 best corners in this league.
Offside, Calgary number 90. First down repeated.
Offside, though, it's Bronzell Miller is charged. 2nd time in this early going. Calgary's been too quick off the mark. So the playoff adrenaline is flowing. And a 1st and 5. Inside handoff. Saunders doesn't get back to the line. Alondra Johnson, the middle linebacker, steps up and fills the hole.
Well, Alondra steps in and makes the play, but I like what Reggie Slack has done here. He's moved himself into the shotgun. It's 2nd and 5, or 1st and 5. He shows pass formation, and then he hands the football off to Saunders coming back inside on a counter play. Now, Daniels gets there and misses, runs by Alondra Johnson. Now, the play is not successful, but that sets things up for him down the road.
AJ missed 2 of the 3 meetings against Saskatchewan early in the season because of a hamstring problem. Here's 2nd and 5, and Donald Narcisse. He's whacked by Coleman, but Narcisse has the catch and a 1st down for the Riders. Donald Narcisse and Bobby Jurison asked the coaching staff to give up an off day this week so they could have an extra meeting to prepare for this game.
Now, Don Narcisse is going to come in on a curl route. Too much cushion given up by Marvin Coleman, and that's what Narcisse does so well, is he comes inside in traffic, catches the ball in his hands, he knows he's going to get hit, secures the catch, 1st down.
Didn't get to 1,000 this year, but the 9th consecutive season over 900 yards for Narcisse, and now Saunders back inside to the 47, and he has 4. Check that, Sean Daniels, the fullback, with his first carry.
And a gain of 3.
This is also something Reggie Slack will have to do as the quarterback, is get Sean Daniels involved. Normally just a blocker, a special teamer, and is a good blocker. But Jim Daly knows that this offense is going to have to use everybody on the football field for them to be successful offensively. Not a lot of big play guys, but a lot of guys that are grinders that make plays for you.
We're still scoreless, 7 minutes into the first quarter of the Western Semi. Slack back to pass, now swings out to Saunders. Mike Saunders pushed out of bounds by Jordan, but they're following the Dave Archer playbook here. You want to get that ball into Saunders' hands a lot here early.
I really believe Mike Saunders is the most talented guy on the offensive side of the football. He can run it and he can catch it. And this time they get him involved catching the football. He did not have a reception last week against...
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary, number 17, first down Saskatchewan.
Coleman. So 12 yards on the catch and tack on 15 more against Marvin Coleman.
As we said, that Saunders did not have a catch last week in the shellacking they took against Winnipeg. I really feel like he needs to touch the ball about 25 times a day, receiving and running, to be a factor for Saskatchewan.
For the Riders at the Calgary 36.
Down to the 36 of Calgary. And a first down for the Green Riders. Slack rolling left in hot pursuit. And the Stampeders get to him. It was Jermaine Miles losing the helmet, but finding the quarterback.
By number 95, Jermaine Miles.
That's just a play fake. They get Reggie Slack on the edge. As Chris, as you had mentioned, Slack had a 100-yard rushing day against Calgary earlier in the year. It's just a play fake to Saunders. He really only has one guy in the pass route. That's Donald Narcisse. This is pretty much a run all the way. Saunders gets out in front, gets a block on Kellogg. Slack turns it inside for a 9-yard pickup.
21 carries during the regular season, 184 yards and a touchdown. Rushing the football for Reggie Slack. Saunders checks out, and the jumbo team comes on. Second and just over a yard for the Riders. Daniels to do that. First down. Sean Daniels, a former Stampeder, played with the Stamps in '95. Missed some time earlier this year, and Mike Saunders was telling us before the game, that makes an impact when the big fullback's not there.
Yeah, he missed 9 games this year with a knee. And these are the kind of things that Daniels will do for you, is you'll get the tough 3 or 4 yards inside on short yardage situations and down on the goal line, but he's featured as a blocker, and he does it extremely well.
So it's been a promising start for the for the Riders today. Looking for the first points of the game. Reggie rolls right. Can't find anybody. McClanahan got the Slack as he unloaded, incomplete for Narcisse, and flags are flying. Anthony McClanahan unloaded. And it looked like it was too late.
Major foul, roughing the passer, Calgary, number 41, first down Saskatchewan.
So 2 roughing penalties, 2 offsides in the opening 8.5 minutes.
And these are the kind of things you don't expect from a Wally Buono coach football team, but I think that should have been a no call. That's all I can say about it. I think McClanahan tried to pull off, and he did. There was no shot taken there. Shouldn't have been a call.
It was, however, and the ball now on the Calgary 11. Saunders. And he's wrapped up at the 10. Give him a yard.
Well, this is Marvin Pope's strength. Pope will play the short side in most of the day for Calgary, and he is best at pursuing, meaning coming from behind or flowing down the line of scrimmage. To get to Marvin Pope, you have to run the ball right at him. Now, this is a counter play away from Pope, and he's going to fold inside and make the play. I think if you want to get at Marvin Pope, you need to run the ball right at him.
Not a great year for Big Daddy, but he said last week the front four had its best game for Calgary all season long. Second, 9, Slack with time, end zone for Saunders, incomplete.
I'll tell you what, Reggie has come out and done some things that have been very rewarding to him early, and that's getting Mike Saunders out in the pass route. These linebackers are run stoppers. McClanahan and Alondra Johnson are run stoppers, but if you lock them in coverage, that's not AJ's strength, and Saunders has him beat. The ball's just overthrown. But again, it lets them know that Saunders can make some plays for him down the field, and that bodes well for Saskatchewan down the road in this game.
So McCallum will try to put the first points on the board. 70% during the year, and good on his first attempt of this playoff game as Saskatchewan takes an early 3-point lead.
Welcome back to Calgary on a glorious day in November for football. The Stampeders have not lost to Saskatchewan since 1989 here at McMahon Stadium. But Jeff Reinbold, who's our game day analyst here today, what do you think of the way Saskatchewan has started?
I've been impressed with them. They come out emotional. They're into the game. A few penalties early, but that's part of the emotion of the game. But they're doing a good job utilizing Saunders. They're getting him out of the backfield, and I think, you know, playing hard on defense, as you see right there by Bobby.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Back up to the booth.
Yep, big hit by Bobby Jurison there on Kelvin Anderson, but it does look like Dave Saskatchewan's forgotten about that game 9 days ago when Jeff Reinbold's team did a number on them.
And I think that guy right there, Bobby Jurison, had a lot to do with that. The leadership on this team has to step forward and throw that game last week out the window. It's playoff time. All that other stuff doesn't matter. We have a chance for the cup.
2nd and 6 for the Stamps. Garcia out of the shotgun. Here's the blitz, and Terry Vaughn underneath with the catch up to the 51-yard line, and the Stampeders have a first down and a 13-yard Vaughn pickup.
Well, Ryan Carey comes on a free safety blitz. Garcia sees it, and so does Terry Vaughn, and they pick up the first down. The offensive line, this line's been solid all year. Fred Childress, the offensive line outstanding award coming from the West. And Terry Vaughn, Mr. Effort. He blends in with Pitts and Moore and Danielson at the receiver corps.
Got over 1,000 yards in the season last week. 93 yards against BC, put him over the top. And now Garcia took a hit, and so did Dwayne Ford. Can't hang on. As the safety Ryan Carey unloaded, but Carey got the worst of it. And Jeff Garcia's also down as we set the Saskatchewan defense. Troy Alexander, really, he's had a breakthrough year.
He really did. 10 sacks along with Jurison's 10 sacks. Kroppe and Van Wey start inside. Gary Rogers will play a little D-line when they go to their nickel package and bring an extra defensive back in. And this secondary, the only guy that's played all year long is Jael Joseph. Terrell Omer comes back, and I think Terrell Omer is a solid player back there.
Well, this is the last thing that Calgary wanted to happen today. Jeff Garcia going down early, and Dave Dickinson is scrambling to get ready.
Well, you see the knee gets hyperextended there, and there is Gary Rogers coming from a defensive end position, and you can only hope that just twisted a little bit and he'll be back.
Well, the kid out of Montana starting to warm up now. He played most of the fourth quarter last week, but has had limited time this season. 49 passes thrown. And so Dickinson continues to get ready, and Garcia gets attention. We'll take a timeout here at McMahon Stadium. There's Jeff Garcia just moments ago getting up and being helped to the sidelines with trainer Pat Clayton. And here's how it happened.
Well, Gary Rogers gets the leg trapped underneath of his body, and it hyperextends on Garcia. He limped off under his own power. He only hoped that he could get back in this ballgame.
Well, what a spot for Dave Dickinson. Some people thought that he would challenge Garcia for the starter's job this year. It didn't work out that way. Did get one start against the Argos, and now goes to work and comes out firing. Finds Terry Vaughn at the Saskatchewan 50-yard line. 8-yard pickup for Vaughn. Dave Dickinson, a guy who was a star in college, 96 touchdown passes at Montana.
Well, most of that work right there, stats-wise, came against Toronto. He played virtually, or he did play the whole ball game when Garcia had the elbow problem, so he felt like that was a big bonus for him. You think you're ready until you get thrust in, and in a backup capacity, you don't know how rusty you are until you'll actually get a play, so that was a big thing for him. He played quite a bit of that, played all that football game about 3-4 weeks ago.
Stampeders are 2 yards short of a first down, so Martino will punt it away, and Shannon Baker drops deep with Curtis Mayfield. Not a great punt by Martino. This is Baker, flagged down. And Baker is 2 at the 17-yard line. 2:54 to go in the first quarter. Martino, a 35-yard punt.
Legal block, Saskatchewan, number 38.
Taking a good look at the right knee of Jeff Garcia. Again, Montreal with a 45-35 win over BC as Mike Pringle ran wild today, and the Alouettes and the Argos next week in the Eastern Final. And if it's at all like last week's final regular season game, that is going to be a beauty.
Yeah, and it's still burning in Montreal's craw of last year's Eastern Final where they got blown out by the Toronto Argonauts, so they'll be ready to play.
Well, with their starting quarterback on the bench getting attended to, Calgary needs some big D. And Saunders wrapped up at the 10-yard line. Marvin Pope involved. And a short gain. There's Anthony McClanahan. And defense has got to come up big right now and try and pin Saskatchewan deep.
Well, I think the defense realizes the situation, too. You see your number 1 quarterback go down. All of a sudden, things fall on your shoulders a little bit. And you see Jeff Garcia going off the field. Let's go down to Steve Armitage.
Yeah, David, I'm walking alongside Jeff Garcia right now. They've been checking that right knee, and what they've been doing is looking at the joint just below the kneecap in the right knee, and they've been checking for that left to right motion. There is some motion. Garcia got up, could barely walk, and he's right now being helped to the dressing room by the team doctor.
Reggie Slack got out of trouble there, and up near the 20-yard line. And we're going to have a measurement here as Garcia continues to favor the right knee.
Now he's pointing to where the pain's coming from on the inside portion of the knee, which means it doesn't feel too stable to him right now. And that's the Western outstanding player this year limping off.
Slack got a first down.
On a gain of 5.
Well, Reggie Slack has come out and done the things that he felt like he needed to do to help his team be successful. Get Mike Saunders involved, running and throwing, or running and catching the football, and he needed to run with the ball himself. He's picked up 2 big gains running the football himself today.
Saskatchewan's owned the football for most of this opening quarter. Slack has to run back against the flow, and Reggie going to turn it upfield. He'll be close to another first down. So the running ability of Slack right now has been the key in this opening quarter. Gets 9 more on that carry.
First down for the Riders.
It is athletic ability. You're exactly right, Chris. He does this all by himself. It's a designed roll to the left. Doesn't have anybody open. Darryl Hall flashes in front of him. Now it's just Reggie Slack's athletic ability. How many people can I make miss and get up the field?
You might be the wrong guy to ask because it's your position, but does the fact that the number 1 quarterback on the other team going out have any effect on the psyche of the Saskatchewan Roughriders right now?
I don't think there's any question about it. I think it breathes just a little bit more life into that team, and they came out fired up anyway.
Guys, I just talked to Pat Clayton, the Stampeders trainer. Garcia is in the dressing room being examined by the doctors. He has definitely damaged a knee ligament in the right knee, so that's not good news for the Stamps. Guys?
It looks like Wally Bono is going to have to lean on Dave Dickinson today.
2nd and 8 from the 31.
2nd down and 8. Saskatchewan at the Rider 31-yard line. Roughriders with a 3-0 lead. Here comes the blitz. The ball knocked free, and Calgary's on it.
Well, this is something Saskatchewan had a problem with, Chris, last week. Jim Daly's team could not pick up the blitz against Winnipeg. This time, they don't pick it up again. Davis makes a big play.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary, where the Riders lead by 3, but the Stamps are savoring a huge sack in this football game. Jeff Reinbold, your Bombers did this time and time again last week. Why can't Saskatchewan pick up the blitz?
Well, part of it's they're keeping the back in. You just get overrun. It's 50 protection. They bring more than you can handle. And again, until they empty the backfield out and force one-on-one matchups, it's going to be tough for them. They blitzed them twice today, both times gotten home, and this one's a big one.
So you're saying the more blockers Saskatchewan keeps, the more blitzing linebackers we're going to see from Calgary.
Just more people can come to the party, and that's, again, a tough part of the scheme. They've got to empty the backs.
All right, Chris.
Eddie Davis was the party crasher there. And Calgary takes over. Dickinson under the gun now. And he's finally down. Ron Getz and Troy Alexander finally bring him to the turf.
A whole raft of riders there. Troy Alexander.
We talked about Troy Alexander having 10 sacks. He ended up getting that sack on Dickinson because of John Kropke. So everybody up front playing well. It's a pressure package. The linebackers come. That's Ron Getz at the bottom. There's Kropke, gets a piece of Dickinson, and then the mop-up duty comes from Alexander and Getz.
Loss of 8. 2nd and 18. Terry Vaughn coming across, drops the football, and Bobby Jurison's got it. So they trade fumbles here, and Saskatchewan gets it back. Dave, during the regular season, Saskatchewan turned it over 58 times. Calgary, half that number, 29. But they've traded turnovers here.
Well, these are the kind of things Jim Daly team has to have happen. Troy Alexander comes back inside after Greg Clark turned the screen pass. Right there, Clark flashed, turned the screen pass back inside, and the big guys in there come in with a whack, and Jurison recovers the football.
Alexander stripping the ball loose, and the great veteran Bobby Jurison in his 12th year gets it back for the Green Riders. First down, Slack, better protection. Now unloads, incomplete as Jermaine Miles was finally getting to the quarterback.
Number 89, Al Jordan was right there, number 27.
Well, Saskatchewan has dominated the numbers to this point. They've owned the football for almost, 11 and a half minutes of the football game, so that's why the numbers favor Saskatchewan. But this game is still just a 3-0 ball game. But I like Reggie Slack is doing a lot of good things. Play action pass, getting the ball to Saunders, getting some other people involved, running with the ball himself. He's playing a solid game right now.
2nd and 10. Slack over the middle, has a completion, and Mayfield with his 3rd catch of the game near midfield, 15 yards, and a first down.
Well, this was an offense that was in complete disarray last week against Jeff Reinbold's Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but because they're getting some protection and they've had a little bit of success with some things are starting to happen. They get a little bit more confidence. This time, Curtis Mayfield comes inside for Gary Hoffman's offense. That's Gary Hoffman, offensive coordinator. Struggled last week, but this week, the plan seems to be working against Calgary.
Saskatchewan first down. Slack looks outside for Saunders. Can't reel it in. Darryl Hall was there in coverage.
Out of his reach, incomplete. Darryl Hall, number 4.
This is super coverage by Darryl Hall. Darryl Hall collisions. Mike Saunders right there just throws his route completely off. Saunders lays out to try to make a play, but credit Darryl Hall. Good collision to the running back coming out of the backfield.
Hall in his 5th year with the Calgary Stampeders, played for the Broncos for 3 years. 2nd and 10. Slack over the middle, and a completion to Narcisse. Stampeders claim he didn't make the catch. But it's another first down and a gain of 12.
First down for the Riders.
Well, this is a different offense we're seeing than last week. Dom Narcisse comes up with a low throw here. Let's see if he got his hands underneath. Oh, yeah, the vet receiver goes down and gets it. And that's a good call on the completion, but they're showing a lot of different formations. They're giving Calgary some headaches with what they're doing.
I know George Cortez, the defensive secondary coach for Calgary, says they've really been leaning on Narcisse in recent weeks. Slack rolling, Mayfield, and he found a seam and is down to the 15-yard line. Well, Curtis Mayfield really was not a factor in the games against Wally Buono's team this year, but he's been a big one so far this afternoon.
Well, Curtis comes into this game as a receiver in his career, only averaging 2.9 catches a game, which means you're not much of a factor, but this is a frozen rope from Reggie Slack on the run to the slot receiver Curtis Mayfield for a big gainer.
Dave, in the games against Calgary, he had 9 catches, but he averaged less than 6 yards a catch. Not today, 4 for 66. First down, Saskatchewan. Slack, good protection. Looking down near the goal line. Ball is jarred loose. And are they ruling it a catch? Yes. Oh, boy. If it's a catch, isn't it a fumble? Alondra Johnson with the big hit. Ball popped loose.
Well, Narcisse is going to be on the ground when he catches this football. He slides to make the catch, and then the big hit from Alondra Johnson. I think that should have been a fumble. They're going to say that he was down before the ball came loose, and his knees were on the ground, and once you make contact with somebody on the ground, they are down. So solid call by the official. He was down before the ball came out.
And so just outside the 1-yard line, Reggie Slack and the Green Riders, first and goal. Sean Daniels, touchdown. A methodical drive led by Slack and finished by Daniels. And yes, they're swelling with pride here at McMahon and in the province of Saskatchewan. What a start.
Well, Reggie's doing a good job of taking care of the football. When he's been in trouble, he's thrown the ball away. When he's had time, he's sat in the pocket and he's made some plays running with the football. But you got to credit that offensive line. Terry, Green, Coulter, Kominski, and Makowski. They've all played pretty well and allowed Daniels to get in with a touchdown.
McCallum to attempt the point after. It's good. And a shocker developing here in the first half at McMahon. 10-0 Green Riders. Reggie Slack has been in the fishbowl this year, often criticized in Saskatchewan, but off to a great start.
He's really mixing a lot of plays, and there's 7 plays in that drive, and there's always a couple that stand out. This was the throw to Curtis Mayfield, and a gunshot right out of the arm there. A beautiful throw. Kalen couldn't make the play. And then here's the throw to Narcisse, where Narcisse has the knees down. Alondra Johnson with the hit, but he'd already established himself on the ground, and then Sean Daniels powers it in. So the 1-yard plunge, just one of the 7 plays that keyed that drive.
Jim Daly, in his first playoff game as a head coach, has a 10-0 lead, has knocked the starting quarterback of the opposing team out of the game so far, and is on the patrol.
Well, Jim Daly's done a good job of keeping this team together. You saw Cal Murphy come in at the last moment. Those 2 guys have really hung the team together. Now the whole game falls on Dickens' shoulder. Those 2 guys, the brain trust. Really, Cal Murphy has been huge for Jim Daly, a sounding board for some of the problems, and they have had some problems this year, but they've sorted them out, and they're a playoff football team.
You can tell Cal isn't the head coach anymore. He's actually smiling down there. You never saw that during a game when he was the head man in Winnipeg. Well, let's see what Calgary can do to answer back. Kelvin Anderson across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Second consecutive year he's been over 1,000 yards. Steve?
Guys, I just got the word from the Stampeders bench and trainer Pat Clayton. Jeff Garcia is in the dressing room. He will not be back. He is gone for the rest of the game. Bad news.
Well, it's bad news for Calgary, but it's a great opportunity for Dave Dickinson. He's been waiting for this for a couple of years.
2nd and 5, and Dickinson goes to Alan Pitts. It's always a good way for a young quarterback to go.
Yeah, not a bad guy to throw it. That's a guy that has 50 100-yard games in his career, which is a CFL record, and If you have any doubt, find number 18, because he'll come up with a play for you.
Well, remember, just 11 games played for Pitts this year. Otherwise, he would have been over 1,000 again.
He's so big and strong. He's tough to cover one-on-one.
And Dickinson is 3 for 3 since his quick call off the bench. And Pitts unable to hang on. Looked like he was 4 for 4, but Pitts landed heavily and couldn't squeeze it. Terrell Ulmer in the battle there against Alan Pitts.
Well, this is a good matchup because Ulmer has had a super year this year. Just going to be an out route from Alan Pitts. He plays off the defender, which he does so well, and that's a ball that Alan will tell you he felt like he should have had, and he probably should have, but Ulmer's had a great year this year for Saskatchewan.
Missed the last couple with a separated shoulder, but says he's back to 100%. 2nd and 10. Dickinson, and that pass was behind Danielson. First time they've looked at Danielson today, and the Stampeders are forced to kick the football away. 7:46 to go in the first half, and the Green Riders with a 10-point cushion.
Well, Dickinson's going to throw this ball on the side of error. If he throws it inside and he's too far inside, the ball's picked off. So he throws it to the outside, hoping his receiver can make the play because the linebacker breaking in from inside just didn't come up with it.
There's Curtis Mayfield. Shannon Baker's also back. A calm day here in November at McMahon, and wind not a factor at all. Shannon Baker inside his 10 and stopped up at the 12. Roger Reinson, the Melville, Saskatchewan native, with the tackle after a 48-yard punt. There's Danny Barrett talking with the receiving core of the Calgary Stampeders. Stamps down by 10 here late in the first half, and now conferring with Dave Dickinson.
What a huge plus Danny Barrett being on the sidelines is. He's been in all these battles, been to Grey Cups. Great addition to that coaching staff.
Although the way things have unfolded today, he might be a bigger plus with pads on. Sean Daniels with the carry, 5-yard pickup.
Well, Danny always comes out right before the game, Chris, and throws the ball with Alan Pitts, and they throw for about 30-35 minutes before the game starts. So he can still wing it, and you can bank on the fact that he's got everything in his mind. I guarantee he could step on the field right now and move a football.
It is 2nd and 5 from the 18.
Well, he's been a valuable asset, as you said, but he may never be more valuable than today, working with the youngster Dickinson. 2nd and 5. A little dump-off pass to Saunders. Like Saunders got to near the 22-yard line, he had to get to the 23. Eddie Davis with the tackle, and I think he shut down Saunders before the first down stick.
Well, these are the things you have to do with Mike Saunders, dragging him underneath against the zone. Davis is going to rally up and make a big tackle and hold Saunders about a yard short. Alondra Johnson comes in and dresses him up. But they're short about a yard, a little less than a yard.
Jim Daly, he did a little survey on his own. He's way out on the field to check it out. And what is the call of the coach in his first playoff game?
Going to bring the short yardage crew in. Here come the big boys.
Oh boy, this is gutsy stuff for Jim Daly. On his own 22 with a 10-point lead. I'll give them marks for boldness. This could be a big play in the football game. Slack pushing ahead. And the Calgary bench thinks he's been stopped, but I'm not sure.
And he's spotted, I think he has the first down, but he took a pretty good lick from Marvin Pope.
That's the beauty, though, of having a quarterback that's 6'2", 215.
And at this time of the year, he's bigger than 215.
You say that as if you're talking from experience.
Yeah, well. got the kids' Halloween candy that came home just a couple of nights ago, and that'll add a few to you.
Yep, it's a first down. No holds barred today for Jim Daly.
Well, I think that shows Daly has a lot of confidence in his offensive group. This has been a group that's been maligned, but Daly has stuck to his guns with Reggie Slack as his starter. Reggie Slack paying dividends for Coach Daly today because he's really played well and really going.
5:40 to go, first half. Darren Joseph spun off Hall and gets to the 27.
Joseph, number 20, the ball carrier.
Joseph with a pickup of 4 out of the University of Ottawa.
Well, this is again as a counter play to Joseph, and this is something they like to run anyway, but I think they picked it up from the films of Hamilton. Hamilton using Archie Amerson tore Calgary up with the counter play from the gun, and they featured it already early in this ball game.
Number 27.
So Joseph is out. 2nd and 6. And time count violation. They didn't get the play off.
Time count violation, Saskatchewan, number 17, still second down.
I see that disrupts your entire plan. You picked up 4 or 5 on first down. Now you're at 2nd and 5, and now you get the time cut violation. Reggie can't allow that to happen. Now, whether it's shuttling people in and out or causing him a problem to get his plays off, that's something that needs to be ironed out with his coaches, but that's something he can't allow have happen.
And now he's got 2nd and 11 back at the 22. Rush on, outside Farthing, nowhere to go as Coleman tosses him down. 2nd catch for Farthing, and now it'll be 3rd down Saskatchewan.
Now Farthing's just breaking the outside, and he's just the underneath control route, and because they dropped so many people off in zone, Slack had no throw, so he threw outside to Farthing, and Coleman rallies and makes the play. That's what happens. You get in 2nd and long, now a team can drop back in zone, make you throw the ball underneath, get to the football, and make you punt.
So Terry Vaughn drops back to receive the McCallum punt. That is 50. And TV crosses midfield before he's drilled back by Walters and Straczynski. 4:37 to go, and the Riders on top.
Reggie Slack and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have fashioned a 10-0 lead over Calgary here in the 2nd quarter. Coming up at halftime, we'll talk live with Montreal Alouettes head coach Dave Ritchie. His Owls defeating the BC Lions 45-35 today in the East semifinal. We'd also hoped to talk with Argo head coach Don Matthews. He arrived at our studios today, then left, so he will not be on the broadcast. Perhaps the playoff intensity too much for him.
Well, the intensity is heating up here at McMahon. Here's Dave Dickinson looking for Terry Vaughn. Nice move by Vaughn outside and down to the 30-yard line of Saskatchewan. Vaughn thought he should have had a few more. 20-yard gain.
That's a good read by Dave Dickinson. They come with a blitz to the wide side of the field, and he finds Terry Vaughn coming back underneath. And I think Terry Vaughn might be the best run after the catch guy. The blitz is going to come from right there. You see the top to the bottom of the screen, but here comes Vaughn inside. Now watch him make people miss. Maybe the best run after the catch receiver in the league.
Only the 4th first down of the opening half for Calgary. Here's the reverse. Vaughn was drilled and back at the 40. There is no fumble on the play, but Terry Vaughn was really cranked.
Well, Terrell Omer is the halfback, and he's the halfback to the short side of the field, and he blitzes in and makes the play. Omer leads his team in tackles if you exclude K.D. Williams, who departed after about 9 weeks in the season. But Omer comes in on the blitz, and he's right there to wrap up Terry Vaughn. It looked like to me the ball might have squirted out on Vaughn a little early.
That handoff's a split second later. Omer might have taken it.
Tell you what, that was a fumble right there.
There's a loss of 10. Alexander jumped, and the flags fly as the play does not get underway.
Flags are down.
And was Alexander drawn? Offside.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 46 and 71. Second down repeated.
Got the two sack men coming off, Jurison and Alexander. The fullback's going to start in motion right there, and because of the movement in the backfield, that's all those two outside rush guys were looking for. They knew it was a passing situation. As soon as they saw movement, they rushed in.
They've given the 3-minute warning to both benches here at McMahon Stadium. Wally Buono's team in a hole.
The Calgary Stampeders have a great...
Homer away, Rider pride is always in evidence, and the Green Rider fans enjoying what they've seen today. Hoping this is shades of '89 once again. 2nd and 15 for number 15, Dave Dickinson. Gets away from one and spots Pitts down at the 20, and that should be a first down. Dave Dickinson escaped Greg Clark, the middle linebacker, and found Alan Pitts.
Well, they're going to play back. You can see right here they've got all these people in coverage. Now as the ball snapped, they drop back. Now Clark sees Dickinson begin to scramble. He comes up and puts pressure on, misses him. Dickinson makes him miss and hits Pitts for the first down.
So the Stampeders now threatening. Kelvin Anderson. And Anderson down to the 13-yard line. Todd McMillan, the nickel back with the tackle.
Todd McMillan, number 9, will have the tackle.
Well, with Garcia out of the ball game, Kelvin Anderson becomes even more important to the Calgary offense. They have a young quarterback in the game who's only really played in 2 ball games. Anderson now must be a featured part of their offense. They would run him anyway. He's had over 1,000 yards this year, but they pick and choose their shots with Garcia at quarterback. I think he has to be more involved now, catching the football and running, take some of the pressure off their young quarterback.
5th play of the drive. Wally Buono said yesterday, if Anderson runs well, we win. He'll run here and has stopped up Bobby Jurison, John Kropke, and a loss of 1. Jurison with 10 sacks and 6 tackles for losses during the regular season. Adds another in that department here.
Well, to talk about how good a season Bobby Jurison has had, he was their nominee. He was Saskatchewan's nominee for most outstanding player and defensive player of the year. So he filled 2 of those voids for him.
Number 13, Mark McLaughlin, will attempt a 21-yard field goal.
Defensive coach. 3rd down 2, so McLaughlin comes on. 21-yard attempt. Is there a flag? McLaughlin makes it, and the Stamps are going to argue that somebody on that line was offside.
Well, Eric Sutton, the rookie cornerback, was wind up to the outside and looked like he might have jumped.
I think
the referee is saying he got back.
As Sutton looking over there, he
He's
even
right
looked
here.
at the referee afterwards. There's the snap. Did he go back? Boy, Sutton looked guilty as he looked over to see if the flag had been thrown. That would have been an automatic first down for the Stamps. And those are points Calgary would have loved to have taken off the board.
Well, there's a referee standing right on that side looking at it, and he felt like he got back before the snap. He was not in that 1-yard neutral zone, and that's a judgment call on his part. It was not Ken Lazarick, the man we were seeing there.
So it is a field goal, and it's 10-3.
Mark McLaughlin, 21-yard field goal is good. It's the Riders 10, the Stampeders 3.
But it's been a first half where most of the breaks have gone Saskatchewan's way. Here's Titus Winans, speedy wide receiver, who sees action because of the injury to Rod Harris. Lost Rod Harris and Profile Greer, who is another good special returner for Saskatchewan. 19-yard kickoff return by Winans. Look in at halftime. We'll talk to the winning coach today. There's Dave under the umbrella. Congratulations to Dave Ritchie and the Alouettes. Boy, look, a lot of fun watching that game at Molson Stadium today.
You think we could have got him a better chair to sit in there? I think Lazy Boy or something.
Well, he's got Fausto there taking care of him, getting the royal treatment. Nice fake by Slack and throws outside. Narcisse at the 40, a catch in front of Al Jordan, but a flag down.
Oh, we got flags all over the field. We're going to get a roughing on Miles against the quarterback, but there's another flag also.
May have been an offside against Calgary, too.
Well, Miles got flagged for the rough. That was the play. That was what Ken Lazarick called with his flag, but there was a flag across the field also, and they're trying to sort this one out.
It would be the third roughing call of the half against Calgary.
Holding, Saskatchewan 68. Roughing the passer, Calgary number 95. Offside, Calgary number 96.
Well, there would have been more penalties, but they ran out of markers. Well, here's the roughing the passer call.
And Miles is going to put his head right on Reggie Slack, no question about it. Good call from Ken Lazarick, the referee here. And Reggie made a nice throw to Narcisse, which got him the first down and extended the drive.
It all adds up to first and 10 from the 40, which is where Narcisse caught the football. Minute 15 to go in the half. Slack looked over the middle, held up, and now finds Narcisse at the 47. And a gain of 7 for the 11-year veteran who had his best game this year against Calgary, 118 yards.
Again, another great decision by Reggie Slack. He had Mike Saunders breaking inside, pump fake like he was going to go to him, saw the linebackers break on it, went outside to Narcisse.
2nd and 3. McDaniels, and he burst through to the 52, and he'll move the sticks. Sean Daniels with only 13 carries during the season. Reggie Slack's called his number a few times this afternoon.
Well, offensive football only works if the offensive line is playing well, and this offensive line is playing well.
And now they go to the hurry up with 49 seconds to go. Slack has some time, and now he'll take off. And Reggie down to the 45, fumbled the football, but they are calling the play dead. Alondra Johnson with a hit. Coleman showing his frustration. It's a 13-yard carry.
We have had a few early whistles. I felt like the Narcisse no fumble was good. This one, Reggie Slack scrambles, and he's running with authority. You see the head down, trying to get the first down. Alondra Johnson comes in for the strip. And it looked like to me the right knee was on the ground, but there have been some early whistles. Terry Vaughn was the benefactor of one of those early whistles earlier in the ball game.
Slack has fumbled once today and 5 times against Calgary this year. He'll run again, and Alondra's on his back with 22 seconds to go. 6 yards on that carry for Reggie Slack.
With Reggie Slack establishing himself as a runner, as Coach Daly wants to conserve some time and burn a timeout here, Slack establishing himself as a runner has really locked the linebackers in. McClanahan and Alondra Johnson have had really big concern with Reggie Slack.
Well, Jim Daly said we'll have to be at our best today to beat Calgary, but we are capable of beating the best teams. And the evidence is victories this year over Toronto, Edmonton, and Calgary.
And the last game between these two was a dogfight, a 28-24 game right here at McMahon that was in doubt right to the end.
Oh, we go back to 1989, that great run by the Green Riders. A touchdown, and that was Brian Walling with one of the Plays they still talk about in Saskatchewan. Set up the win over Calgary, then defeating the 16-2 Edmonton Eskimos. And then the greatest Grey Cup game I've ever seen, 89, and the win over Hamilton. 2nd and 4, and Slack looking for a bundle to Narcisse. Touchdown! Reggie Slack to Donald Narcisse, 39 yards.
Well, when you get into playoff games, it's all about veteran players stepping up, and Donald Narcisse has been a huge factor today. Narcisse catches the perfectly thrown ball from Reggie Slack, good protection, and Wally Buono's team finds themselves under the gun, and he'll have to come from behind to climb back into this one. Offensive line steps up, good protection, good pocket around Slack. Now he airs it out and hits Donald Narcisse right in stride, and that's over Al Jordan, who was an all CFL performer last season at cornerback.
McCallum adds the convert. 15 seconds to go in a shocking first half at McMahon Stadium.
This has been the best half of football Reggie Slack has played this season. I've had an opportunity to see Saskatchewan play a number of times this year, and Reggie Slack is on his game. He is in a zone right now at quarterback.
6 plays, 80 yards on that drive. The other touchdown drive, 7 plays, 71 yards. He earned the starter's job in training camp, and despite a barrage of criticism all season long, Reggie Slack firmly entrenched at number 1. And right now in Saskatchewan, there's nobody doubting that decision. Jim Daly commended his quarterback yesterday about the pressure that Slack has been under and how he has performed with confidence and dignity through all the criticism this season.
I think there's several guys wearing the green and white today that their middle name is Resilient, because they have fought through so much adversity this year, and Reggie Slack has been one of those guys.
High, short kickoff. Terry Vaughn
Number 2, Terry
over
Vaughn
the 40 to the 43, so 10 seconds for Dickinson. Tony Marciano with words for his quarterback. You want to make a play call here with 10 seconds to go? Or?
Well, I think you take a shot. You're out near midfield, you take a shot. He's got a lot of dangerous people on his side of the football. You take a shot down the field.
10 from the Calgary 44.
And this is a confidence builder for the young guy to come into the second half with.
Need about 20 yards for Mark McLaughlin range. They'll go shorter to Vaughn, and he's to the Saskatchewan 51. 15 yards, 4 seconds to play. You let McLaughlin try a 58-yarder.
And Calgary uses its first half timeout.
Calgary uses the timeout to think about it. McLaughlin's longest of the year, 52 yards. And wind, absolutely a non-factor here.
That's a long, long kick, 58 yards. I think you give Dickinson another shot to make something happen down the field. But of course, that's why I'm not coaching, and that's why McLaughlin's going to come in and kick one.
Going to try it. His career longest is 58 yards. Well, load it up, Mark. You'll need all of it here.
McLaughlin's had a super season this year, got off to the rough start. Death of his father this year was something he really had to endure early in the year, fought through some of the problems, and has had a super season this year.
Not going to get any help from Mother Nature. Well, this would be an uplifting one for the Stamps, but obviously He tried to get too much of it. And the shank bounding down. Whoop! There's a loose ball. But a flag on the no yards.
Flag is down and a fight for the football.
Well, what happens so often when you're kicking a long one, you have to get some low projection to drive it out of there, which allows the hands to come into play. And because he had to hit it so low, Saskatchewan defender got his hand on it and knocked it down.
That touchdown pass by Slack to Narcisse, the first aerial touchdown for Reggie against Calgary this season.
No yards, Calgary, number 42, decline.
So the first half is over. Reggie Slack and the Saskatchewan Roughriders take a 14-point lead to the dressing room at McMahon.
Welcome back to Calgary, where not everybody's at the football game. Some enjoying the foothills and the fine weather. Reggie Slack enjoying the weather here, showing his moxie to the quarterback with a 17-3 over Calgary at the half. Well, earlier today in the East semifinal, what a thrilling shootout as the Montreal Alouettes prevailed over the BC Lions. The final score, 45-35. Mike Pringle having an outstanding game, 263 yards rushing, a new playoff record, and 2 touchdowns, celebrating his fans along with head coach Dave Ritchie. Getting congratulations from BC head coach Adam Rita, and he's the man of the hour today in Montreal. Dave, I hope he didn't get too wet hanging out in the rain. Thanks for doing the interview.
No problem. It stopped raining when I came over here to do the interview.
Dave, let me ask you about the football game. It looked like a blowout at one point, 42-12, and then BC made it interesting.
Well, we said at halftime, make it a 0-0 game, go out and play, and all of a sudden we have a couple turnovers, and by having the turnovers, in fact, we had about 4 fumbles that kind of cost us in the second half, and they didn't get some points out of it, and we had a couple turnovers, and we did get some points out of. So, you know, when you're ahead 42-10 or 12 or whatever it is, you have a tendency not to do what you came out to do. And our guys came out to play early, and they blew it to where it was, and after that, you know, you just hope that you can come back and continue. But, you know, the other team plays too, and we got some turnovers, and they came out to play, and they had some injuries, we had some injuries. So, you know, it's one of those games. It's just it's a CFL game.
That was fantastic.
We don't know how to make it easy.
Dave, let me ask you, you must feel like you're building momentum with the win last week to finish the season over Toronto, this huge win in the semifinal. Now you're going on to the East final against those Argonauts once again.
Well, they're very good. They've got great coaches, and, you know, Don Matthews has broken a record with 148 victories, and, you know, well-deserved. They get a great football team. All I know is that our guys got a lot of courage, a lot of fortitude. So we're going down there to play them, and we will go down and we will hit, and we'll do the things that we do best. And if we don't do them, how could we lead the league in penalties? You know.
Well, Dave, Wally Buono, the head coach here in Calgary, was making the point yesterday that he felt the Stampeders did not have momentum every year. They had the bye into the division final. They felt that by going through the semifinal, you build momentum. Do you feel that you're doing that now?
Well, the only thing I wish that, you know, if you have your druthers, Toronto's sitting back getting their injuries better, and we just came up with 3 or 4 big, huge ones, and we don't know where they're going to be until Wednesday, you know, as far as where they'll, you know, will they even be able to play. And I think that's the only thing about having a bye and not having a bye. The other thing, though, is that we hit again this week, and we got a little mode to hit, and I know they got some kind of philosophy down there that they don't lose 2 games in a row. But you tell them we're coming. That's all you have to tell them.
I'm sure they're watching this broadcast right now. Listen, there's a guy here who matched minds with you all season. He's got a few things to say to you.
Chief.
Who's that?
Jeff Reinbold. Here we go.
Chief,
hi, how are you, Jeff?
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
3 wins in a row now. I know this about your football teams. You will show up, and you'll bring your helmets against Toronto. Good luck.
Oh, thanks a lot, Jeff. Thank you.
All right, Dave Ritchie, thanks very
game.
much for joining us at the half from Montreal. Congratulations on your big win today over BC.
Thanks a lot.
Dave Ritchie and the Montreal Alouettes to face Don Matthews and his Toronto Argonauts in the East semifinal next Sunday from Toronto. We're back to Calgary right after this. Pretty nice day for fly fishing on the Bow River here in Calgary. The Stampeders, though, hoping they'd be a little better than this. Down 17-3 to the Saskatchewan Roughriders at the half. Who would have thought that after Saskatchewan was routed 55-9 1 week ago against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The Calgary Stampeders suffering the loss of their first-string quarterback, Jeff Garcia, in the first half, and that has to be the big story. Let's go up to the booth now and welcome back Chris Cuthbert and Dave Archer.
Mark, I only have one question. After 55-9 last week in favor of Winnipeg over Saskatchewan, how did Reinbold's team not make the playoffs? What we're seeing today, you know, Jim Daly, we asked him a lot about what happened last week, and he said, I'd be paralyzed if I had to analyze that. We just put it aside. Sometimes you're not sure if a team can do that, but apparently they did.
Yeah, and I think it all fell on their veteran players. The Bobby Jurisons, the Reggie Slacks, and the Don Narcissus of this team have stepped up and played at a different level than they played a week ago, and that's been the key to the game.
And another key is the injury to Jeff Garcia, and it looks like he's done for the day. So it's Dave Dickinson's game after this hit on Garcia.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see the most outstanding guy in the West go down with the injury, but as you said, Dave Dickinson now will have to step up and pull the reins of this Calgary team.
Well, veterans were the leaders here. Reggie Slack, Bobby Jurison, and Donald Narcisse for Saskatchewan, and this was a huge play at the end of the game.
Well, it's a super throw by Reggie Slack, and then Don Narcisse, who'd made several catches early in the ball game, comes up for another big play, and the veterans on this football team have come to play. And another one of these veterans, Bobby Jurison, most outstanding player on this team, most outstanding defender on this team. He brought his defensive crew. They have played strong football today.
Told the story about Jurison and Narcisse both saying, we don't want the day off. We want to go into a meeting and really gear up for Calgary. And I think that says a lot about those two guys and the team.
I think it really does. This team has been resilient, as we talked about. They've had a lot of adversity, the quarterback thing, the KD Williams thing early in the year. Jim Daly's kept his team together, but the veterans have kept this team together, and they're playing today that way.
How about the young guy Dickinson?
Well, everything's on Dickinson's shoulders, but Dickinson knows this offense. Danny Barrett will be right in his ear. He'll be helping him. They'll be ready to go.
Okay, let's check in with Steve Armitage.
Thanks very much, guys. Jim Daly, you said coming into this game that your team would have to be at its best to beat the Stampeders. That was a terrific first half.
Well, our guys are playing at a high level. We've told them all week, you know, after the embarrassing loss we had against Winnipeg, who had a great game against us last Friday, we needed to come back and play real great football and come in and play at the highest level, and that's what our guys have done, and they've responded. We learned a lesson from Winnipeg, and they had a great game against us, and we're trying to have one tonight.
Congratulations on a super first half. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Mark, back to you.
All right, Steve, Don Narcisse emerging as a vocal leader on this football team, and now walking the walk here. His Riders up by 14 at the half.
Number 2, Marvin Coleman.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. Now an anxious spot for most of the 20,000 on hand today, as the Stampeders find themselves in a 14-point hole as we start the second half with Marvin Coleman at his 17-yard line. Here's Coleman up across the 35 to the 39. And as the offense comes onto the field, let's check in with the Calgary starter and Steve Armitage.
Thanks, Chris. I'm with Jeff Garcia. Jeff, how serious is the knee injury?
We won't know until tomorrow. It seemed like all the ligaments were still in place and probably just stretched them a little bit. I just hyperextended it to the worst possible way you can get it, and I'll have an MRI tomorrow, like I said, but I'll be fine. I think I'll be able to go, hopefully, at some point, and you know, I'm just hoping that we can pull this out. I want to say hi to all my family back home, and I'm all right.
You must have known when you went down that it was serious enough to take you out of the game, because it looked like you were in a lot of pain.
Well, the way it happened, all his weight went against my knee. It extended all the way out, and felt some crackling going on, and I knew right then it was pretty seriously. I'm glad it's not as serious as I thought it was.
Do the Stamps have the character to rally behind Dickinson?
They better. I think Dave's a quality quarterback. I think he can get the job done. They just need to give him the opportunities to do it. We need to spread it out a little bit. We need to get 5 receivers in the game and allow their DBs to try to cover our guys, which I don't think could happen.
Jeff, thanks for doing this. Good luck. Guys,
6 receivers there, Steve, and Dickinson took a late hit. Danielson didn't get the first down, but a flag thrown after Dickinson delivered the strike.
Roughing the passer, Saskatchewan, number 21. First down, Calgary.
Well, Dale Joseph gets flagged here, and this is a vicious hit on Dickinson. He lets it go, and the helmet down. Big lick right underneath the shoulder of Dave Dickinson, but credit Dickinson. Under duress, throws a strike to Danielson, and the young guy's got his team moving.
It's the first catch for Vince Danielson in this critical opening drive in the second half. Look at these numbers, though. This is Calgary's quarter. It has been the worst quarter for Saskatchewan all year. Flag flies there as Greg Clark jumped across the line of scrimmage ahead of the snap of the ball. So it was Calgary taking the penalties in the first half, and Saskatchewan looks like they're a little over anxious to start the second half.
Well, Clark jumps the gun here, and he gets flagged for offside.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 58. First down repeated.
Yeah, Clark's right in the middle. Jumped the gun. The thing that Saskatchewan's doing defensively now in this drive is they're helping the young quarterback. They're giving yardage to him that he's not earning, and that's what you need to do. That's what Wally would hope would have happened for his young quarterback. Get a few breaks.
First and 5.
There's the 5-pack that Jeff Garcia talked about. Dwayne Ford, the lone setback. Dickinson gets it to Danielson, trying to escape the hold of Dale Joseph, and can't do it. Let's check the first half numbers.
Saskatchewan owned the football in the first half because they got everybody involved. Saunders was a key part. The rushing yardage for Calgary, which they like to feature somewhat with Anderson, has been non-existent. Subsequently, they have not held on to the football. Just a good, solid first half of football from the Roughriders.
First down for the Stampeders at the Saskatchewan 37. Dickinson rolling right, has Pitts. Alan Pitts cuts back. Pitts, great move, down to the 15. 21 yards.
Well, we talked about veterans stepping up at the halftime for Saskatchewan. Now the veterans are stepping up for Calgary. We're going to roll this here, and Alan Pitts is the slot receiver to the top of the screen. Good solid throw from Dickinson, and now Alan Pitts works some of his magic and makes some people miss. Gets a nice block from Terry Vaughn. Danielson and Pitts now stepping up, the veterans for this Calgary offense.
Third catch for Pitts. Dickinson 9 for 12 on the day. First and 10, looking over the middle. Danielson to the 9. This is Calgary football. We didn't see it in the first half. When Danielson and Pitts are catching the ball, Calgary's usually on the move.
And what's happening here, Chris, is we're seeing Tony Marciano's adjustments at halftime. Pitts was not involved. Danielson was not involved. Yes, their quarterback has changed, but their philosophy does not. These are their two featured receivers, and now they're being featured in the second half.
Vince Danielson, a brilliant year, 91 catches. There's Tony Marciano, 2nd and 4 as he watches his offense go to work. And flags fly. 1 second left on the time clock, so that's not the problem.
Looked like we had some offensive linemen rocking back in their stances.
It's going against Saskatchewan.
But they were drawn off by movement on the other side of the football.
You know, we saw Tony Marciano there. Wally Buono wanted to make the point yesterday that he deserves a lot of credit. There was a lot of criticism of Calgary after John Hufnagel left, and the Stamps went 0-3 to start the year. But this offense racked up some pretty good numbers.
Really did. Number 2 offense in scoring, number 2 offense in yards, first in giving the football away. So they've done some good things offensively this season under Tony Marciano.
And now it's 1st and goal from the 4. motion to the right. 6 receivers out. Dickinson into the end zone. No good. Anderson the catch, and apparently didn't get a foot down.
Well, well-designed play here into the short side of the field. Both Anderson and Vaughn are going to come out of the backfield, the short side for Wally Buono's team. Just the little pick play, you'll see Anderson's going to free up along the side. Let's see if he was able to keep his feet in. No solid call by the official. Foot was on the white line, but a little pick play. Anderson got free of the linebacker coverage. Ball just a little too tall for him.
2nd and goal. End zone, Danielson, incomplete as he was cranked by the safety, Ryan Carey. So the Saskatchewan defense with a big stand.
I don't know that Vince sees this football when it comes out on him. I think he sees the safety coming in to hit him. Let's see if he's looking for the football. Oh, the ball goes right through his hands. Well thrown ball from Dickinson. Danielson just didn't handle it.
Big hit by Ryan Carey out of Acadia. 2nd year with the Riders. Originally drafted by Winnipeg. And now McLaughlin. Would you put anything on here, or does Calgary need the points?
Take the 3.
They're going to take the 3, and it's 17-6. So Calgary gets a field goal on the opening drive of the 2nd half.
Back in Calgary, where the Stampeders settled for a field goal, Jeff Reinbold, I know how much you like Dave Dickinson and his leadership qualities.
Well, you know, David at CMR High School in Great Falls, Montana, and then at the University of Montana, won championships at both those places. Never lost a high school game. The kid's not going to panic. He's been through this before. In the championship game against Marshall at Montana, led his team with no time on the clock for a drive to score. They're fine. Both coaches are doing a great job of coaching, but Calgary just got to settle down and play their game.
What do you say to a team at halftime that's lost its starting quarterback?
Well, I think the thing that Wally will do a great job of is not panicking and just understand that, hey, we're going to win. There's 3 phases of the game. We'll win in the kicking game. We'll win on defense, and we'll give Dave a chance. I think going to the empty stuff, the shotgun stuff, forces the defense to show its hand, makes the young quarterback's job a lot easier.
Well, from what he's seen already, Chris, Wally Buono must be happy knowing that his team is in good hands with Dave Dickinson.
Wally Buono felt that his team was better offensively, better on special teams, and maybe a saw-off defensively, but you just saw another great return by Shannon Baker, and right now Saskatchewan is outplaying Calgary in a lot of ways. Reggie Slack over the middle, and he has another reception by Narcisse, but he put the ball on the carpet, and what's the call this time?
Over to number 85.
Riders did recover. I guess it's Titus Winans getting on the ball. That the 10th consecutive completion by Reggie Slack, who ended the first half 9 for 9.
Well, with the field goal by the offensive unit, this defense is going to come out ready to play. It's a good throw. Narcisse squeezes the ball, but Al Jordan breaks it out of there, and Winans saves the fumble.
So Saskatchewan right back into Calgary territory at the 45. Fake to Saunders. Slack gets outside, flag down. And the pass complete to Narcisse near the first down stick. 9-yard pickup for Narcisse, but again a flag. And it looks like this is coming back.
Holding, Saskatchewan, number 67. First down repeated.
Now the play was designed for Slack to set up in the middle of the pocket. Right there, and as soon as he breaks contain, then somebody's going to grab somebody, and looked like Commons grabbed his man, and that's what happens when the quarterback begins to scramble on a play that's designed to be a pocket pass. The lineman's only going to be able to hold him out of there for so long. Then they have to begin to grab.
Comiskey, the big 300-pounder out of the University of Windsor. First and 20. Slack, lots of time, and a wide open receiver over the middle. That's Winans, and he signals the first down. Titus Winans played under Jeff Tedford, a former Calgary quarterback at Fresno State. And a 26-yard pickup.
Well, it's a zone coverage, and this man's going to break inside. And Reggie has enough time to find Winans, and the key is time. His offensive line is giving him time.
8.5 minutes to go, third quarter. First down, Saskatchewan. Slack in trouble, and they're going to call him for grounding. Donald Narcisse is right there. He threw it in front of Narcisse, just a couple of yards in front of him, and I'm a little surprised that that flag was thrown.
I think they're going to wave it off.
There's no infraction on the play. Second down.
And you have to credit the other officials around Ken Lazarus, because Ken's watching the quarterback. His job is to take care of the quarterback. Quarterback breaks contain. Now he's looking for a late hit or something. All of a sudden the ball comes at her, and he doesn't see a receiver anywhere near it. But the other officials saw that Don Narcisse was right there, came over to Ken Lazarus. They straightened it out. Good officiating.
That ends a string of completions for Reggie Slack. And it's 2nd and 10. Saunders draw play, not going anywhere. And at the 27, they'll put it in position for a McCallum field goal attempt.
Marvin Pope got an arm on him. Alondra Johnson, number 51.
Now the draw play is a feast or famine play, and this time they get nothing out of it. 2-yard gain. If he creases everybody and runs for a touchdown or picks up the first down, then Coach Daly and Gary Hoffman, the offensive coordinator right there, looked like geniuses. But in my mind, that was a little bit conservative. I thought that they should have thrown the football there. I would have wanted to throw the football, and I would bet that Reggie Slack would have liked to also there.
Paul McCallum, number 4, attempted a 35-yard
So
field goal.
McCallum will try to counter the McLaughlin field goal to open the second half. And he does.
And it's good, 35 yards.
So it's still a 14-point Saskatchewan lead halfway through the third quarter. Oh, some nervous Stampeder fans here at McMahon Stadium. 6 of the past 7 years, it's been an all-Alberta Western final. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders trying to change that. Hey, next week, next Saturday, horse racing's richest day, the Breeders' Cup. Join Brian Williams and Jim Bannon for the Breeders' Cup. 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 on the West Coast. J.P. Esquerdo over the 40 to the 43-yard line. 13-yard kickoff return, and Dave Dickinson, a promising opening drive in the second half, and now goes back to work. They're going to have to get in the end zone sooner or later, Dave.
Yeah, I thought he had a good drive in the first drive of the second half. Actually had a ball right on the money to Danielson that he couldn't come up with in the end zone, but he's getting good field position. He's not locked in on his end of the field, all the way out to the 43-yard line with a good return by J.P. Esquerdo. So now he's got some room to operate.
We got Bobby Jurison gear up the defense. Hits over the middle to the Saskatchewan 50, and Dickinson's got that lane to the slots opening up now.
And the lane is created, Chris, as you alluded to, by the offensive line. The offensive line keeping the defenders out of his face. Dave can now see. And Alan Pitts understands zone as well as any receiver in this league. Finds the crease. Dickinson puts it on him.
First down, Stamps, 6 receivers. Here's Pitts again. Close to the 40, close to a first down.
Close to 10 yards.
Ron gets the tackle.
Well, Alan Pitts again. Alan Pitts is right down here. He's going to come up in this area, and they're going to run some defenders towards Allen. Ron Getz is going to run out there. So is the defensive back, Ulmer. But because of his knowledge of coverage, Allen understands, hey, I've got a guy over me and a guy coming from the inside, so I'll slide back to my quarterback, Give him a throwing lane. It's a good guy to find, number 18. He knows coverage as well as anybody that's played the receiver position in this league.
Less than a half yard. Dickinson to Anderson. And Kevin Anderson chews off 6.
Well, the running game and the passing game work hand in hand. If the passing game begins to work, now they start flooding people out to cover people. Now there's not enough people up to stop the run. And a good surge by the offensive line, and those two big fullbacks, Duclair and Ford, give Anderson a running lane.
First time today, Calgary has moved the chains on the run. Dickinson in trouble, now got it away. J.P. Escordo still going, down to the 15. The University of Calgary product with his first catch of the day, and it's 19 yards.
Well, already 2 big plays in this drive by Esquerdo. He took the short kick as Dale Joseph has stayed down, but Esquerdo took the short kick, had a nice 15-yard return, and here a scrambling Dickinson finds Esquerdo coming back to help his quarterback. And then some nice run after the catch. He breaks the Vincent Donaldson tackle, makes Ron Getz miss, gets up the field for a nice gain.
Esquerdo's one of those guys that follows the Grey Cup around. He has 3 rings, 2 with Toronto and 1 with Edmonton. And there's Dale Joseph getting attention.
Dale Joseph, number 21.
You'll never get left out in the cold with MotoMaster, Canada's #1 selling brand of batteries. Available only at Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
One thing you notice, Dave, is the poise of this young quarterback. Usually a guy in his first year or 2 in the league can be flustered easily, but Dickinson looks like a veteran.
Yeah, he stepped in. You could tell talking to him on the field before the game that because of that Toronto experience 3 or 4 weeks ago when he got to play the whole ball game, that stepping in for Jeff Garcia, who was injured early in the ball game, would be something he would relish, and he's played that way. And it looks like Jeff Garcia has had a little influence as to what Dave Dickinson is going to have an opportunity to do as they've gone to a 5 wide receiver pack. Dwayne Ford, the fullback, is out of the game. J.P. Esquerdo, the 5th receiver, is in. Already paid dividends with a nice play by Esquerdo.
You know, Wally Buono thought it was a bit of a blessing that Garcia didn't play that Toronto game. Got a week off just to reinvigorate himself. It turned out the blessing was that Dickinson got some action. 298 yards passing in the game against Toronto. First down, Dickinson throwing, and a completion inside the 5 to Terry Vaughn. And it's another first down as Gary Rogers got caught up in a little discussion.
Terry Vaughn's right up here. He's going to run the curl route for his quarterback. It's man coverage, Vaughn one-on-one, and the ball's well thrown to the outside shoulder. Donaldson has no shot to knock it down. Dickinson playing at a different level right now.
Jason Mallett checked in for Dale Joseph. First and goal, pressure on. A completion to Anderson. All he got was a yard, maybe a couple on the play.
Now Dickinson signaled to the coaches on the sideline, and Anderson got him down to the 2-yard line. They're actually on the 3 after the completion. As a quarterback, you always embellish those situations so you get another shot, right? Good catch by an underthrown ball, but a lot of pressure on Dickinson, got the ball out to Anderson.
Ryan Carey was right there defensively. They got stopped up at the 4 the last time. Let's see if they can move it in. Second and goal. Rush on in the end zone. Incomplete. Travis Moore, the intended receiver. Third down. And they look back to the Calgary bench. They went for the field goal the last time.
Well, you're only given so many opportunities. They failed last time, had to kick the field goal. This time, Tony Marciano's going to go for it. He's going to let his young quarterback try to make a play.
Touchdown, Vince Danielson.
Well, he went right back to Danielson. Danielson had missed the pass the previous drive. They had to settle for 3. The blitz comes right up the middle, and the young quarterback finds Danielson, who had 91 receptions, second most on the year, just inside. Blitz coverage. Danielson at 6'4", goes up and makes the catch. Big play.
Calgary's top Canadian this year. And there's a couple of guys in the booth that can't believe he's not the top Canadian in the West. It's a 2013 game as Danielson and the Stamps get back in it. Vince Danielson eased the loss of Dave Sapunjas in Calgary this year with a brilliant season.
There's the 2 linebackers. That's Ron Getz. That's Greg Clark. They're blitzing. Nobody in the middle field. Dickinson reads it. Puts it right on Danielson for the touchdown.
7-point game. There's Titus Winans. And Winans up to the 33. And
Barkley with Jeff Reinbold. Jeff, just before that huge third down gamble, you were saying go for the field goal. What do you think of that decision?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that, but I'll tell you what, that shows me an awful lot about Wally. He's got tremendous confidence in his football team. Now you feel the energy in the stadium. It's an all-or-nothing shot, but credit Wally, he did it. Now Greg Marshall's got to come back as the defensive coordinator and put a scheme together to stop the 5- and 6-man package that you're seeing out of Calgary. This is what it's all about, great coaching in the playoffs.
Back-to-back drives for the Stamps and lots of guts. Chris?
I like the call only because if it doesn't work, you've still got the other team backed up. But the bottom line was Calgary needed a score, and they got one. Here's Saunders on the option pitch, trying to turn the corner up to the 42, and that will be close to a first down.
And good idea by Reggie Slack. Come right back and get Mike Saunders involved in the game. This is an option. This is the fake inside to Danielson. Get Saunders on the corner. Marvin Pope had gotten pulled in by the fake. Saunders gets to the corner and picks up almost the first down. And he's just short.
Find a flight that fits your schedule. Canadian Airlines, the way you want to fly.
Almost a free down for Saskatchewan.
Well, they've got to know their short yardage pack if Saunders is on the sidelines. That means the big crew is in the game, which takes a lot of your big play opportunities away. If you're going to play fake and throw the football down the field, expect them just to pound this one straight ahead to pick up the first down, move the chains.
2:18 to go in the third quarter. A touchdown separating these two teams in the Western Semi. Ray Biggs moved early, and the flags are down.
Now Reggie's using the hard count. You can see his head bobbing a little bit. Probably could have called him for pulling people off, but he's going to pull the defense off with the staggered count. Watch Reggie's head. Let's see if he bobs his head.
First down.
Not supposed to do that as a quarterback. You're not supposed to entice anybody off with your body movement. Reggie used the head. He's going to bob the head real hard. There it is. And he got Raymond Biggs. That's a veteran quarterback using the count.
Dan Kovaski is down, getting attention. The rookie on this offensive line, and it has held up nicely today. Young group put together here. Rookies at both guard positions.
Well, what's happened is their offense has changed a little bit from last week. They're not keeping both their backs in all the time to block. Now they're spreading the field a little bit, declaring the rushers for their offensive line. Ben Fairbrother will come in and take Kaminsky's place. But they've declared things a little bit more up front for that offensive group, and they've played well up front, sorting out the run game and the passing game.
There's Ben Fairbrother, and little conflict of interest Roger Reinson was telling us about today. Fairbrother lives in the basement at the Reinson household in Regina. There's Roger, former Regina Ram.
Yeah, he thought about throwing him out of the house for a week for this game before he was able to come back, but
at least raise the rent.
Yeah.
So Fairbrother, the long snapper, comes in, and Kaminsky will sit down for at least a couple of plays.
First and 10, Saskatchewan.
First down for the Green Riders at the Saskatchewan 47. They fake the counter, and Slack gets outside, and Reggie runs for the first down. 15 yards for Slack, who has been a dangerous running attack on his own today.
Well, he came in with the mindset that I am going to be a factor running the football. And he knows right now he's running. He does a little pump fake for window dressing, but he's getting up the field. He's run well all day long. You know, with Fairbrother coming in the game at offensive line with Kaminsky hurt, he now slides the tackle, and now Mikowski slides down to the guard. So a little bit of a shakeup on the offensive line for Gary Hoffman's offensive line.
Now Slack looks deep, wide open, Curtis Mayfield. Mayfield, had he kept his feet, might have scored.
Mayfield gets open.
30 yards on the catch for the Superfly, who got tangled up on his own.
Your receiver's right in here. He's going to run across the field versus man coverage. And I don't know how he falls down here. The turf monster grabbed his foot. He catches that on the run. It's a touchdown.
Not far.
The ball's well thrown right on the money, and he just falls down.
Fifth catch for Mayfield, 96 yards. Slack rolling right. Mayfield was in the end zone. He goes to Narcisse. And Donald Narcisse bounced around inside the 5. 15 for the veteran wideout.
Chris, you know what Reggie Slack is doing is he's doing a good job of sorting out where the good throw is. Reggie had a chance that time to throw the corner route to Curtis Mayfield again. Didn't like the way it looked. Donald Narcisse slid back down the sidelines to give him a throwing lane. He puts it on Narcisse, makes the good, solid, safe throw, yet moves the chains. This is something Reggie Slack's been doing the whole game, keeping Narcisse involved in the game. Narcisse has done a good job of bailing his quarterback out.
First and goal from the 4 on the final play of quarter 3. Daniels inside, and not much there. Big Daddy in on the tackle. We're 45 minutes into it, and the Riders have the lead and are looking for more. That's Cal Murphy, Jim Daly in the discussion with Reggie Slack during the break. As we check out the numbers through 45 minutes on our Canadian Tire stats board.
Again, Saskatchewan's owned the football, which has allowed them to rack up the numbers, but they just keep moving the chains. And the old adage, you move the chains, the goal line's going to hit you in the face eventually, and that's exactly what they've done. Now they're faced with this big 2nd down and 3 call from the 3-yard line.
This drive for Saskatchewan, 5 plays, 74 yards. And now 3 yards from pay dirt. 2nd and goal. Slack on his own, now flips, Saunders, touchdown.
That's a good call by the coaching staff because they put their guy up to bat, Mike Saunders. Saunders was the guy we featured at the top that we felt he needed to be big time involved with this offense, and he has been. This is just the option play that they'd run successfully early in the drive. Good fake inside to hold Miles and all the inside guys. And now Kalen has to try to make a touchdown saving tackle. He can't. Not in spades against Mike Saunders.
So the Saskatchewan Roughriders answer right back after the Stampeder touchdown. McCallum adds the point after, and it's a 14-point lead again. Mark?
Well, Chris, despite Calgary's field goal and touchdown in the third quarter, as you mentioned, Saskatchewan has matched Jeff. A whole quarter of football has gone by, and Calgary is no further ahead.
No closer, and that starts to work on you after a while. What do you got to do? You take a big third down risk on the 4-yard line, punch the ball in. They come out and answer. I give Gary Hoffman a lot of credit. They put a little wrinkle in. They run the option. They had shown no option all season long. Put it in on the goal line. Great job of coaching, and every aspect of Saskatchewan, kicking game and defense, has risen to the occasion.
All right, Jeff, and so Saskatchewan with probably a huge upset in the making with 1 quarter of football to go, Chris.
Jim Daly's not taking this one to the bank yet, but
is Jeff Reinbold just drinking water down there is what I want to know. Good option play. Drew everybody inside. Kalen probably has the pitch back in that situation, just was not able to get out there. Well designed, well run. Execution is what is a big part of offensive football. They out executed Calgary's defense.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, sir.
I just got to throw him a bone, you know what I'm saying?
You know, Dave, I made a terrible mistake today talking with Mike Saunders. I thought he went to the same school as you, Iowa, but...
No, you can't ever put me in the Iowa category. Iowa State. We hate the Hawkeyes.
Yep, and Mike made sure I realized that because Iowa won yesterday. Apparently Iowa State didn't.
Well, that's not a surprise. The last time Iowa State beat Iowa was in 1982, so I've lost a lot of money to Mike Saunders.
Well, Dave Dickinson,
58 yards.
the margin is 14 as you take the field again, just as it was the last time you led your offense out. So we're going to test the mettle of Dickinson, the young quarterback, again. Starting from the 35. Looking for Danielson, who makes the catch. Todd McMillan there to limit the gain to maybe 5.
Number 9, Todd McMillan on the coverage.
Now, once again, the blitz. They're coming after Dickinson. They're trying to put the young guy in the kitchen and heat it up on him. Makes a good throw against blitz coverage here to Danielson. These are the kind of things he has to do. If they blitz him, get something positive out of the play. He does there.
2nd and 5. 6 receivers out. Here comes the blitz, and they get to him. Alexander burst through there. And a sack of Dave Dickinson.
Loss of 13 yards.
That's the first poor read by Dave Dickinson. They're going to zone things off. Travis Moore comes open underneath, and Dickinson does not see him. Travis Moore's going to come inside, and he's going to be open right here. And they don't see him. Wide open. Dickinson didn't find him. That would have extended the drive.
Now the kid Alexander with the sack, had 10 on the year, tied with Bobby Jurison for 4th in the CFL. Shannon Baker drops deep. Big play for the Saskatchewan defense. End over end punt, bouncing to Baker. Aldi Henry knocked the ball loose. Does Baker get on it? Calgary says they've got it. And they do. Aldi Henry stripping the ball away from Baker. And the Stamps get some breathing room.
What's up, Lansing? I love y'all.
Well, it was yesterday. Wally Bono said Aldi Henry was quite a pickup. He's just got the ability to give our team a lift on special teams. He just did.
Yeah, we talked about the grinders at halftime of the Eastern semifinal, and there's one of the grinders. Aldi Henry steps in and makes a play. That's the only time he gets to play is on special teams. He's made a big one for his team.
At the Saskatchewan 35. 4 receivers go right for Calgary. Now they swing the ball that side. And Vaughn will throw to Esquerdo, and he couldn't come up with it as the pass was delivered behind the intended receiver.
Well, Terry Vaughn actually has 3 receivers in the pattern for him, and he tries to take a bigger chunk than he really needs. He underthrows J.P. Esquerdo, but he had Alan Pitts, who just flashed in the screen, wide open. I don't think Esquerdo expected him to throw the ball to him.
2nd and 10 at the 35.
And Dave Dickinson saying, that's why I do all the throwing.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, Danielson, and he'll have a first down at the 21. I don't know about you, Dave, but I thought Danielson jumped the gun and was offside. He got a great jump.
Well, he certainly shot into the middle of the field, and his quarterback found him. He's working against Getz, and that's a mismatch. Getz is supposed to get the jam. McMillan, the nickelback there, supposed to cover him man coverage. Good read by the young quarterback to get his open receiver the ball over the middle.
Well, he was a favorite target this year. 2 games in which he had 8 catches apiece. First down, Dickinson, incomplete. Going back to Esquerdo.
Pass intended for J.P. Esquerdo, number 23, is incomplete.
Eric Sutton was in coverage.
Yeah, they're working on the young corner over there, Eric Sutton. Esquerdo was the target there. Good throw by Dickinson. He worked on the young guy, one-on-one coverage. They just didn't make it happen. Execution, big in this situation.
Stamps in the hurry up. 2nd and 10. Dickinson looking end zone, looking for Pitts. Touchdown.
Now the young quarterback comes back and finds one of the all-time greats, Alan Pitts, for the touchdown. But the credit has to go to the offensive line. Dickinson held all the ball a long time, allowed Pitts to work his route. Watch the offensive line battle up front. Give Dickinson holds, and then throws. And Pitts had broken behind Dale Joseph for the touchdown.
McLaughlin adds the extra point. It's another 7-point Saskatchewan lead. Dave, Alan Pitts gets the credit, but the Big Chill comes up with a big play.
And it's second effort. Freddie Childress sets up this touchdown pass by his second effort. This is Fred Childress. Now watch him. He's working against Kropke, pushes Kropke off. Now watch him dive. Gives his quarterback just an extra count to find Pitts for the touchdown.
5th career playoff touchdown for Alan Pitts. They fake the reverse, and Winans, who has great speed, upended at the 34-yard line.
Chris, the first thing Jeff Reinbold said when he saw this touchdown by Alan Pitts, what an adjustment.
You know what? There were 3 great plays. Childress, the block we saw. Dickinson recognizes cover 1. The only place to throw the ball is away from the free safety. The only guy who has a chance to make a play on this. And Allen sees the ball over his outside shoulder, readjusts to the football in air. That's a great play by a money receiver in a clutch situation.
Even some of the top receivers in this game can't find the ball when they have to turn like that.
Not that guy. He is a money guy.
Chris?
4th all-time in catches, guys. 3rd in yards, 2nd in touchdowns. He has them within a major score, but Calgary's got to find a way to stop Reggie Slack, and that's a good start. Al Jordan with the knockdown, as this Calgary defense has got to come up big.
They really do. I'm going to bail out our new broadcast partner downstairs. You referred to cover 1. What cover 1 is a free safety in the middle field playing zone, man everywhere else. That's exactly what Calgary played on that play. The corner dives in and tips the ball out. There's a center fielder, a free safety in the middle of the field. Ryan Carey was that safety on the touchdown. The adjustment was pitched to the outside versus man coverage. Dickinson completed it. Good call by the coach downstairs.
2nd and 10, and McMahon is rocking. Slack gets outside, but won't get to the first down step. Jackie Kellogg moved up and wouldn't let Reggie Slack turn the corner. Late season addition, and the Stamps think that Kellogg really solidifies their defense.
Well, it's an umbrella coverage. They're just going to lock everything underneath. Zone coverage. Everything stays underneath. Reggie can't find anybody. Now they rally to the football and knock him out of bounds short of the first down.
Good punt by McCallum. Coleman. Up to the 40. Gary Rogers, the tackle. Here's Dave Dickinson going back to work, going back to Alan Pitts. And a first down, 12-yard pickup. Earlier today, the Alouettes advancing to the Eastern Final against the Toronto Argonauts. Als with a win over BC at Molson Stadium. There is Jeff Garcia on the sidelines, knocked out today. Alouettes and the Argos next Sunday in the East Final. We are still a long way from deciding who's going to Edmonton. First down, Kelvin Anderson, big hole. Gets the tackle, but Anderson to the Saskatchewan 48 has 9.
Well, again, the different facets of your offense feed the other. Because the passing game is opened up, now more people are involved in trying to stop the pass. Anderson finds a nice crease up the middle and makes the hit, but not after a 9-yard pickup. One side feeds the other side. Passing game, running game.
And the time of possession has flip-flopped in the second half. Now in Calgary's favor. 2nd and a yard. Anderson will get the first.
Calvin Anderson.
8 minutes to play in regulation time.
58 on the tackle. It moves the sticks. First down, Stampeders.
Delvin Anderson pushes ahead and gets a first down behind Farrell Duclair there. But this is the point in time now where the game is coming down. Only 7:40 left, the clock running. Dickinson has to take care of the football, move his team, but be careful against Greg Marshall's defense. Take care of the ball.
Bobby Jurison calls the defensive formations for Saskatchewan. Dickinson going over the top, and it's over the head of Alan Pitts. Wide open.
Second and 10.
Well, the reason this play is disrupted is because Pitts gets jammed. Alan Pitts is right here. He's going to run up the seam, but he gets jammed right there. That disrupts the timing. You see the jam right there? That kind of disrupts the timing, and I don't know that Alan Pitts ever picked up the ball. I don't think he ever saw it.
Second and 10, Stampeders at the Saskatchewan 46.
2nd and 10. Here comes Getz on a blitz over the head of Danielson, incomplete.
Danielson, number 88, the intended receiver. Ron Getz, number 47.
The blitz came on the young quarterback, and he tried to go back inside again to Danielson as his blitz breakoff throw. But Getz comes clean. He's going to get his helmet right underneath the shoulder pad. Danielson wants to break into that voided area into the middle. Ryan Carey's sitting there waiting on him. The quarterback probably saw that too. Might have been a throwaway for Dickinson there. He might have thrown the ball away to save his receiver and maybe the play.
Mark McLaughlin's in. He's going to attempt a 53-yarder.
A field goal from 53.
Dickinson the holder, and McLaughlin misses. Shannon Baker in the end zone, and he will be wise to give up the single. So Calgary now gets the point that makes it 27-21. 6:39 to play here in the fourth quarter. Welcome back to McMahon. We just had a pretty interesting discussion on giving up a single point. I was a little surprised Calgary doesn't punt and try to pin Saskatchewan deep. That would have been the longest field goal for McLaughlin this year, and now with the miss, they give Saskatchewan the ball at their 46.
Well, that's why I played. I don't coach. Those are tough decisions to make. Do you punt it? Do you kick the field goal? Do you bring it out? Do you say in? A lot of tough calls there.
Now it's a 6-point game, not a 7-point game. A lot of time left. Reggie Slack overthrowing Curtis Mayfield. Incomplete.
Well, this is the first time in the game Reggie has not taken the safe throw or run the football to put himself in a nice situation on second down. He tries to fit one in. Maybe an ill-advised throw here for Reggie. Should have run the football, put him in a 2nd and 5 situation.
Well, we do have a coach on the crew. Jeff, what did you think about those decisions on the last kick?
Well, you know, McLaughlin didn't kick the long one at the end of the half very well either. If you're going to punt, pin him in there. I think this is a critical down. This is the game within the game right now. You got to hold them here if you're Calgary.
Well, the fans at McMahon sure know that. 2nd and 10. Rick Walters is in. Slack, quarterback draw. Not going to get there. Stop at the 50.
Well, he had the perfect defense on to defense the quarterback draw. You'd like to see a lot of pressure coming up the field and your quarterback crease them and find some running room. But they only rushed 3 people, Calgary's defense. Now the linebackers are all sitting back there waiting on the quarterback, along with Marvin Pope. It's only a 3-man rush. Now Pope, McClanahan, and Alondra Johnson are there to make the play.
McCallum to kick it away. Marvin Coleman, the all-time punt return leader for the Stampeders. And he gets up to the 40. So it's 6 points. Saskatchewan with the lead.
You'll never get left out in the cold with MotoMaster, Canada's #1 selling brand of batteries. Available only at Canadian Tire, Canada's auto parts store, made better.
Spectacular early November day and an outstanding Western semifinal.
I think what Saskatchewan has to guard against now is they felt like they could play with Calgary. I think they felt like they could win the ball game. They have to play to win, not to lose. So they have to continue to come after Dickinson.
Dickinson looks for Terry Vaughn up to the 45. Short gain. And depending on the spot, Vaughn close to 5 yards.
And they did come after the quarterback again. Both linebackers blitzed. They played man coverage in the secondary. Dickinson got good coverage, or good protection. Was able to pop the ball out to Terry Vaughn.
Second and 5 for the young quarterback. Pulls it down, goes the other way. Anderson, first down. Kelvin Anderson, big move, and he's inside the 40. 26 yards.
Well, a nice individual play first by Dickinson to find his running back underneath. And then Kelvin Anderson is going to make some nice moves. He's going to avoid Greg Clark, avoid another tackle by jumping over a defender there. But what I love about it, here comes Jay. It's right there, number 50, Jay McNeil, downfield, 25 yards to try to help his runner back extend that throw, extend that play.
You've been hanging around Walby.
You love the effort.
First down, 5 receivers out. And now Anderson. Big French Childress in front, down to the 20. 19 more for Kelvin Anderson, who never got it established on the ground in the first half, and now 2 big back-to-back catches.
Credit Tony Marciano. He pulls one out of the playbook here. This is a screen. Anderson floats, waits, now gets the ball, and there's big Fred Childress, the Western nominee for offensive lineman of the year, out in front of his running back. You can always sense the emotion if the big boys are down the field playing.
Thumbs up on the sideline. This is the best the Stamps have looked this afternoon for Wally Bono. Now Terry Bond twisting inside the 15. 6 for Bond. Tell you what, this second-year quarterback is very impressive and poised.
Screen to the right side. Vaughn gets in behind some big offensive linemen, picks up a 5-yard gain. It's a well-called game by Tony Marciano right now. He knows he's got a young quarterback. He's giving his young quarterback some throws that he can complete.
2nd and 4. Rush on. Dickinson himself. Dave Dickinson, touchdown. Football. He can run too.
Certainly not the strength of Dave Dickinson's game, but he runs for not only his first playoff TD, but the first playoff of his first touchdown of his career. And what a huge one it is.
We are tied pending the point after. And now the Stampeders have the lead. 2:45 to go. A dramatic Stampeder comeback, down by 14, now with the lead. Dave, you talked about Saskatchewan resiliency this year. It's going to be put to the test again with 2:45 to go.
Well, with Dickinson's touchdown run, it's certainly going to test Saskatchewan's mettle to try to come back and win this one.
Here's Baker from his 11. Shannon Baker up the sideline and across the 40-yard line. 33-yard return for Baker. Well, Dave Dickinson finished the drive, but Kelvin Anderson was a huge part of it.
Yeah, Dickinson was able to found his running back a couple of times. The little dump off underneath, Dickinson didn't have anybody else to go to, and here came his running back. Running back made a couple people miss for a big gainer. And again, the offensive line played a big part of what was going on. But again, it's the protection up front. Dickinson's got a lot of time to sort things out, finds a crease and scores.
Now the Riders have to come from behind for the first time. Reggie Slack in trouble. Got his way back to the line of scrimmage, but not much more. Al Jordan moving up from the corner.
Now this is where Reggie's got to take his team. It's like taking a bull by the horns. He's got to make sure he keeps the guys involved that have made the plays for him. Mike Saunders was in the flat there, open. Decided not to throw there. Needs to remember where Narcisse is, where is Mayfield. Those are the guys that have made the plays for him this game. He must keep them involved. He'll have to find one here.
2nd and 9. 4 receivers left. Over the middle, Saunders still going. Mike Saunders to the Calgary 46. And now it's the Green Rider fans making noise. 29 yards.
Well, it only makes sense to make sure you keep these guys involved. Saunders is just going to float to the middle of the field, play off an Alondra Johnson jam. And Saunders knows coverage well. Remember, he played receiver, a slot receiver for Toronto earlier this year. He understands what's going on coverage-wise. He finds the void. Reggie Slack with a well-thrown football. And then Mike does what he does best, run with it. And For those of you thinking at home about Paul McCallum's ability to kick one through, he hit on 70% of his kicks this year. So has the ability to make a 52 his longest. You know those Saskatchewan fans are wondering about that.
Well, if they were stopped in their tracks right now, it would be a 52-yarder, but this drive is very much alive. 1st and 10. Slack, keeper. And Reggie's got another first down. He's had a gutsy afternoon, and 11 more for Slack.
Well, you're so right, Chris, as he's taken some heavy shots today, but Reggie's made all the right decisions. This is a decision where he has a run-pass option. He's decided right now, I'm running with the ball. Safer in my hands than throwing it down the field. Takes a big hit at the end, but picks up another first down.
The leading rusher on the day, 11 carries, 84 yards, and almost lost his head. Clock running. It's in Saskatchewan's hands right now. And a big carry by Sean Daniels. And the Green Riders now are in the driver's seat, even though they trail by 1.
10-yard play.
That's getting down to that time now. Saskatchewan's in field goal range because of the run there by Daniels. Just a power play straight up the middle. It's getting around that time now where Wally Buono needs to think about conserving time for his offense. Has to know that maybe a field goal's in hand. Conserve some opportunity for his offense.
12 yards for Daniels. It's a first down at the Calgary 23. Daniels again.
Daniels, number 35, gets the carry again.
Calgary was number 2 against the run on the season, but the running game's got Saskatchewan in field goal position.
Well, Wally and I are on the same page because I think he's going to burn his timeout right here. He's hoping that his defense can rise up and stop Saskatchewan here on 2nd and 4, forcing the field goal situation with a minute left, and then give his offense a chance to come back and win the game.
Biggest play of the season for that Calgary defense coming up right now.
Yeah, first down here for Saskatchewan, and they can almost seal the football game, giving an opportunity for McCallum to win it for him.
McCallum may get a chance to be a hero, and it's the one message that has to be in the back of the Riders' minds is you can't put it on the carpet now, you can't turn it over, and that's something that's plagued them this year.
And that's something Reggie probably mentioned in the huddle before this play.
1 minute to go. Keeper, Slack, and he'll score! Touchdown, Reggie Slack!
Reggie Slack, number 17, with the Saskatchewan touchdown.
Seconds to go, and Jim Daly's going to go for 2.
Well, he has to. He has to go for 2 here. Because the 1 point doesn't mean anything. He goes for 2. Now he makes a touchdown and a convert for Wally Buono's team to tie the football game.
What an afternoon. And the Riders going for the 2-point convert. Into the end zone, and it's picked off. They can return it. And Al Jordan may be on his way. Al Jordan is going to score. And this is 2 the other way, 115 yards. Makes it a field goal to tie.
It's now a 3-point game. They're worried about making it a 7-point game with a 2-point convert. The interception return now makes it a 3-point game, and now Dickinson has the opportunity to get his team in position to send this one maybe to overtime.
Unbelievable. 33 to 30.
Well, Reggie Slack has done everything for this Saskatchewan team today. Run, throw, played a Super Bowl game. The best game he's played all year long. So the mistake he makes there with the throw and the Al Jordan return, you have to credit to Al Jordan. Just a super play by him. But the thing I wondered when Slack ran for the touchdown is, did they score too soon? Does Dave Dickinson have too much time?
15 yards and a touchdown for Al Jordan.
Jocelyn Borgella did that earlier this year for Jeff Reinbold's team against Saskatchewan, and now Al Jordan has done it. And it makes the job of Dave Dickinson a little easier, because now they're only a field goal behind, and no time ran off the clock. That might have been the longest play of the day, and it didn't cost them one tick.
Well, we talked about the Grinders again at halftime of the Eastern semifinal. This is where they make their pay. They must make a big play on kickoff team to hold Calgary deep.
No timeouts for Calgary left. Marvin Coleman, and Coleman fighting for every extra yard. And they're all precious bits of real estate at this time.
Clarify the situation. Al Jordan's return is worth 2 points on the 2-point converse.
Well, Calgary zoned this play off, and they just fell off underneath, and I don't think Saskatchewan saw that happening. And Reggie threw the ball up, hoping one of his guys could make a play, and as it turns out, 96 All-CFL performer Al Jordan made the play.
1st and 10 from the 41.
Well, I venture to guess it's the first time we've seen that in CFL playoff history. And now Dickinson looking downfield, and incomplete, bouncing the pass to an outlet man, Danielson. 40 seconds to go.
A good call by Greg Marshall. He's played a blanket coverage that time, meaning there was a lot of people into coverage, a lot of zone coverage down the field. Didn't give Dickinson the throw down the football field. Dave tried to dump the ball underneath, but because of some late pressure, incomplete.
Well, what does Tony Marciano have in the Stampeder bag of tricks now? What a spot for Dave Dickinson. He couldn't have imagined this 3 hours ago. Long out, Kelvin Anderson one-on-one, trying to beat Donaldson, and now the rest of the Saskatchewan guard gets up there, 7 yards, and now it's 3rd down for Calgary, and still they need 3.
I think the young quarterback made a good decision there. A bluff blitz fell off. He threw underneath. Now it's a manageable situation, 3rd and 3.
Half minute to go. This could be the final offensive play of the season for the Calgary Stampeders. Dickinson, Danielson, it's over. Danielson can't hang on.
Intended receiver is incomplete.
And with 17 seconds left, Calgary's turned it over on downs. Shades of 89.
Well, Dickinson puts his guy up to bat. This is Danielson, caught 91 balls during the year, second most to Pinball Clemens, 122, but Danielson just can't come up with a throw that's a little too wide for him. And you really have to credit Saskatchewan. They've come in here under the gun after getting hammered last week, and they came with some resolve and have played super football on both sides of the ball.
They relinquished a 14-point lead, but then Reggie Slack led them back in one of his finest hours in the CFL, and Jim Daly's first playoff game will be one he'll never forget.
You don't think there's going to be any Green Rider fans in Edmonton next week, do you?
There might be a couple. And all of them with 89 on their minds. Reggie Slack and the Riders are going to Edmonton.
score, the Saskatchewan Roughriders 33. The Calgary Stampeders 30.
That man right there.
Please have a safe trip home.
Well, Cal Murphy, he's got to be loving this after the drubbing they took in the playoffs last year. But you got to credit Reggie Slack. In my mind, for Jim Daly, he has stepped up and played the game of the year. He had to have a big game in the playoffs, and he did. And Jim Daly's team goes on to the Western Final.
Well, Jim Daly's blue-collar guys have done it. Here's Steve Armitage.
With Reggie Slack. And Reggie, congratulations. What a superb last drive.
Thank you very much. It was a big win for us, huge win. Coming into this game, we felt like we had an opportunity if we came out and played with a lot of emotion, and we did just that today, and we got the victory from it.
Reggie, your heart must have been in your mouth when you put up that pass and Jordan picked it off and went 115 for the 2 points.
Yeah, it was, actually. And I was tired. You know, there was no way I was going to catch him. And, you know, our defense, they stepped up, made 3 great plays there to save the victory for us.
I don't think we've ever seen you play with this kind of confidence. Where'd it come from?
Well, you know, this is all or none. You know, we win or we go home. And everybody here, you know, the first step in our goal was to make it to the playoffs. Now we've won this game. We go to the finals in the West, and hopefully on to the Grey Cup. So, you know, that was our motivation for this game, to win and to continue playing.
Reggie, I don't know if you've been around Saskatchewan long enough to know the true meaning of Rider pride, but that was a classic example this afternoon here at McMahon.
Absolutely. You know, everybody here played with a lot of character on both sides of the football, both sidelines. We especially, you know, to have lost like we lost last week in Winnipeg and to come back and have this type of effort, I think it says a lot for the type of guys that we have in our locker room.
What was the key element in the offensive game plan for the Riders, besides yourself?
Well, I think it was mixing up the pass and the run. Coming into the game, our game plan was to let me run the football as much as possible. In the previous matchups against Calgary, they didn't respect my running ability that much, so I was able to get a lot of yards, and tonight it was no different. They were crashing down really hard on Saunders, expecting him to run, so it opened up a lot of things for me.
Have you even had a chance to think about next week?
Not yet. We're going to enjoy this win, you know, for the next couple days, and then get ready for Edmonton.
Reggie, congratulations on a super game.
Thank you very much.
Let's bring in the head coach.
Think about tonight.
Absolutely.
Good job, Reggie.
Let's bring in the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Jim Daly. Jim, what a super job.
Well, you know, it was a great game. We really came to play, as did Calgary. Reggie Slack had a great game. He's a great man, and we're just damn lucky we got him on our team. Unfortunately, Jeff got hurt, and when Dave Dickinson came in, he sure did a job, just like he did in the second half in the Toronto game when he threw for 240. He did it against us all game, and to his credit, he had a great game, but our guys kept coming back. Every time Dave Dickinson marched Calgary to score, Reggie Slack marched us to score. The CFL fans got their money's worth today.
Now, what did you think? You went for the 2 points. Jordan picks it off, runs it 115 yards in the end zone.
Well, you know, obviously we wouldn't like the turnover. I'd rather have taken a sack back there and make them score 7 to beat us, you know. But, you know, Reggie thought he could get the 2, threw the ball. He picked it, ran for 2. Life moves on. Our defense came up big.
Reggie made some great decisions, but he also executed well.
Well, when you have a man with his experience, intelligence, and guts, he hasn't been able to do the things he did today, like pulling the ball and running, for a month or so because of his shoulder. But today's playoffs, and his shoulder's back healed about 10 days now, and we came in knowing he was going to do that. And when he can do that, and just like when Kevin Mason can do that for us, we're a pretty good offense.
Okay, look ahead to Edmonton very quickly.
Edmonton's a great football team, deservedly first place. And we're glad we got through a tough Calgary team, and we're looking forward to playing Edmonton in Edmonton.
Congratulations. Terrific job.
Thank you.
From Jim Daly, the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mark, back to you.
All right, Steve, Jim Daly getting his first playoff win as a coach and Saskatchewan's first win in Calgary since 1989. How sweet it is. We're back to McMahon after this. The Saskatchewan Roughriders end a 14-game losing streak at McMahon Stadium with a huge upset today of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The final score here at McMahon Stadium, 33-30. And what can you say about Reggie Slack, a quarterback who has bounced around the CFL from Toronto to Winnipeg, never really getting his due and finally getting his day in the sun. Jeff Reinbold, I know you were living vicariously through him towards the end of the game, and one of the things you kept saying was don't get conservative. Keep going with what brung you.
Well, I think it was amazing that Jim Daly did a great job, as all of his coaching staff and players did, of not being conservative, not saying, oh, God, we're ahead now, and doing the tighten up, and then they go away from the things that got them success in the football game. They came in with a personality. They were going to blitz and on defense. They were going to run the quarterback on offense and nickel and dime and use Saunders out of the backfield. A great game plan in every aspect of the game, and even more credit goes to the people for staying with it and, not going in the tank, not being conservative, not pulling in their horns, saying, hey, let's just go play and win the football game. So a great coaching job. And on the other hand, you look at the Calgary side, you lose your starting quarterback right out of the gate. It was like Hagler and Hearns, two guys, body punches, throwing lefts and rights and toe-to-toe through the ring. And like Jim said, the CFL fans got their money's worth and more today.
Did they ever? And your heart has to go out to Dave Dickinson, who came in relief of Jeff Garcia, but he doesn't get to wear the glass slipper today, and he's standing by with Steve Armitage.
Thanks very much, Mark. You and I have been there and done that in terms of backup. We know how tough it is to come off the bench. Dave, you did a terrific job. You came so close, but yet so far away in the end.
Well, you gotta finish a job when you started, and I just felt like we were going to do it at the end. I felt in a good rhythm, but I threw a couple bad balls that last drive. It's real disappointing.
That play where you went into the end zone, did you call your own number, or was it a broken play and you just ad-libbed?
The run, actually, the safety went over and doubled on Pitts, so I just saw the middle and took off. I'm not usually a real good runner, but when the middle opened up, I thought I'd just take it and was able to get in.
One of the most important things when you come in off the bench like you did is you hope the offense rallies around you. They certainly did that.
Yeah, I wish, we could have got off to a little better start as far as when Jeff was in there and when I came in, because Saskatchewan did a lot of good things. We were prepared for it, though, and I don't think we executed like we should have in the first half. And you get behind by 14 to any team up here, it's tough to come back, and we showed a lot of heart, but couldn't get it done.
You certainly showed a lot of heart and confidence. Where did that confidence come from?
Well, I don't know. You got to believe in yourself, right? I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, who's gonna? And it was a long year as far as I thought I would get more playing time than I did. I actually improved a lot in the Toronto game just by taking some hits and learning to read defenses. So, it's going to be a tough offseason, though, with a loss.
Dave, congratulations. Super job.
Okay, thanks.
Dave Dickinson, a super job in a loss for the Calgary Stampeders. Mark?
Well, Jeff, his stock as a quarterback in this league must be soaring. Unfortunately, his season is over.
You said about the glass slipper. That Cinderella's going to wear the glass slipper a lot of times in his career. That kid, you see the pain on his face. To me, that was great work because it showed the emotion of this game. Football is the greatest game because I don't know any game where the emotions run as high. The highs and lows, you saw emotion and momentum switch the whole time during the game. It was a tremendous football game.
And then Saskatchewan coming off that 55-9 drubbing 1 week ago. What an effort.
Well, again, that's why you play the games. There's nobody, me included, gave Saskatchewan much of a chance in this football game. And then, Jeff goes out, and they believed in themselves. I heard Jimmy say it yesterday in the press conference that, hey, we put that game behind us. He said, we expect to play a great football game. And I hope this game will kind of solidify his stature in Regina, in that tough fishbowl, as he calls it. He did a great job coaching his football team. He's going to take them now to the Western Final against Edmonton, and I don't think anybody at this time last year thought they'd be anywhere close to this.
Well, Jeff, it's been a pleasure working with you today, and thanks so much for being our game day analyst.
Enjoyed it, Mark, very much.
Jeff Reinbold, the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. For their thoughts now, let's go to the broadcast booth and rejoin Chris and Dave.
Boy, Mark, that was quite a shot of those Calgary fans. They've had a few afternoons like this in the 90s. This team doesn't lose many at home, but when they do, it always seems to be a key one. This one will be a tough one to swallow.
It really will. Another heart-wrencher for this team. But we talked with Dave Dickinson right there at the end, and Jeff Reinbold touched on it. That Cinderella will have the glass slipper one day. He is a guy that if these teams around the league are struggling at quarterback, Calgary better lock him up contract-wise. He's going to be a guy that people are going to want.
I hate to leave this game and start to look ahead, but Edmonton, Saskatchewan looks like a pretty good matchup when you look at the scores. Eskimos winning 24-18, 37-34, and then Saskatchewan won the last one 29-15. So obviously we got a pretty good Western Final matchup.
Yeah, the 37-34 game actually ended with an interception in the end zone by Edmonton to win the ball game. So anybody that thinks Edmonton's going to walk away with that one is sadly mistaken. It's going to be a classic.
So it's the first time in the 90s that Saskatchewan goes to the Western Final, and Ronnie Lancaster against his old team, that makes it a pretty riveting matchup.
Oh, it really does. I think Ron would have wanted it that way. A lot of people wanted the Battle of Alberta, but I think you got a team that's coming in on a high. I said early in the year, later on in the year, that nobody would want to play Saskatchewan in the first round of the playoffs. Calgary ended up with them.
And they may have Profile Greer and Rod Harris next week. We don't know about that, but we do know we're going back to Mark.
Well, Chris, you said shades of 89, and that was the last time Saskatchewan upset Calgary in the West semifinal. They went on, of course, to beat Edmonton and win the Grey Cup. The next stop for them is indeed Edmonton. McMahon Stadium is near empty in the aftermath of Saskatchewan's thrilling 33-30 win over the hometown Calgary Stampeders in the West semifinal. Earlier today in the East semifinal, Mike Pringle went on a scoring spree as Montreal defeated BC 45-35 in the East semi. Here's Caroline Corey on that.
Welcome back to Montreal, where an outstanding performance was turned in by running back Mike Pringle, who rushed for just under 300 yards. That set a new playoff record, which was previously held by Skip Walker, who used to play for the Ottawa Roughriders. And I had a chance to talk with Mr. Pringle about his big day right after the game. All right, well, it took Mike Pringle 2 games this season to reach 300 yards against the BC Lions. Here this afternoon, he rushed for 263. Mike, how do you explain an athletic performance like that?
Excellent offensive line. I've always said that I have the best offensive line in the league, and they just showed it today. Everybody went out there knowing that, you know, we had to win the ball game. It's, in playoff times, it's win or go home, and we're not ready to go home. Everybody focused and did their job.
What was it like to play in front of this crowd at Molson Stadium?
I like it here. We put some grass down here. I'll stay here forever.
You don't think they will, though?
No, I doubt it. But the fans were great. You know, they came out. They're loud. They're very football knowledgeable, and they're loud when they're supposed to, and they be quiet when they're supposed to. So, you know, I love our fans.
This team is really clicking on all cylinders, offensively and defensively. Your thoughts on facing the Toronto Argonauts in the Eastern Final?
Well, I think the last couple of times we played Toronto, we closed the gap. 3 weeks ago when we played them, the gap was closing. Last week or whenever the last time we played them, we closed the gap. And I think, you know, as long as we stay physical and don't make any mistakes, I think we have a good opportunity of beating Toronto and going to the Grey Cup. But we have to do just that. We have to limit our mistakes and play extremely physical against them.
Thanks very much, Mike Pringle. Easily the game's MVP today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And another outstanding performance also turned in on the defensive side of the ball. Number 57 rush end Alfred Payton returned to fumble for a touchdown. Also had a couple of knockdowns and a key sack. And we talked to Payton, too. Well, Alfred Payton joins me now. And Alfred, just an outstanding day on defense for the Montreal Alouettes. Tell me, such a performance, how did you go about it?
Well, basically, we came in the game knowing that we needed to win this one if we're going to try to take another step. And, you know, I'm just proud of the way we played offensively, defense, and special team. I would like to have played, you know, 60 minutes. You know, we kind of like gave up some points in the second half. But the main objective was to win the ball game, and that's what we came out here and did.
Well, there's quite a rivalry going on now between Toronto and Montreal. You will meet the Argonauts in the Eastern Final. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it because I feel they got to go through us. Yeah, they defending great cup champs, and they're a great team. But I just felt like playing next week. And I without a doubt in my mind, I just felt that we had a chance. We got a chance to win in this thing. And if they beat us, then so be it. But you got to go through us. You got to go through us.
Thanks very much, Alfred Payton. That's the story from Montreal. Let's send it back to Calgary and Mark Lee.
All right, Caroline, and so the finalists have been determined. It's Montreal heading to Toronto to play the East Final, and Saskatchewan in the West will take on Edmonton next Sunday. We're back right after this. Welcome back. Semifinal Sunday, simply spectacular. In Montreal, Mike Pringle in his second touchdown rush of the game, giving Montreal a 42-12 lead over the BC Lions, en route to a 45-35 victory. Pringle setting a playoff record with 263 yards in the process. And here in Calgary, the winning play of the game, Reggie Slack's 17-yard touchdown rush with 54 seconds to go in the game gives Saskatchewan a 33-30 upset of the Stampeders.
The CFL on CBC. One tough.
It was a beautiful day for football, and the games lived up to their billing at both ends of the country. Coming up on CBC next Saturday, horse racing's richest day, the Breeders' Cup from Hollywood Park in California. Millions of dollars on the line in a 7-race card. And then more football. The CFL on CBC next Sunday with the division finals. In the East, it's Montreal against the Argonauts in the East Division final at 12:30 Eastern. And right after that, the second part of our doubleheader, the West final. It's Saskatchewan at Edmonton to meet the Eskimos. Semi-final Sunday, simply sensational. Thanks for watching, and so long from Calgary.
CBC Sports, Canada's Olympic Network.